They do not know the rising towers of Hillbrow. They do not know the sprawling suburbs of the north. They do not know the sweet sounds of isiXhosa, Afrikaans, Sesotho. They do not know our ways. They do not know our people. They do not know us. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking to be seen. We are our own region. We are SSA, RSC Johannesburg, RSC Nairobi, RSC Saint-Denis. This is not just a league, it is a movement. 4 seasons deep, and we are only just beginning. We train on 200 ping. We grind through blackout. We fight through silence. And we win anyway. This is Sub-Saharan Africa. This is our fight. This is Season 4.
Home! And I'm on RSC. Hello and welcome, everybody. It has taken me until week 4 to get onto the RSC stream, and finally I am here to be in and amongst the thick of all the madness, and we are in the feast time, the boom time of Rocket League in this region. What a week it has been. We had Worlds, we had the momentum announcement of the 2/3 enforced rule for SSA, and that's already leading to chaos. We heard about 4 EU teams that were planning to come out and play Rocket League from here, who can no longer do that. We're seeing To Die For and Sweaty looking for an import third. We are seeing Snowy teaming up with Guns. We're living in the upside down. And then coming up in the very near future, we have the FIFA World Cup. We have the start of the 2026 season. It is all happening, and it is coming. As Ferris Bueller says, life moves pretty fast. And of course, in the thick of it all, we are entering the middle zone of RSC Season 4 in SSA. Once again, welcome to it, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. We got 4 games coming up tonight, and we'll let you know everything that's rolling out, our schedule that's happening, where we are in the calendar. As you can see right now, we head toward week 9 of league play. Currently, we are in week 4, 3 weeks done, and we're entering that all-important middle part. The middle part of the league, where every game becomes more and more important. And in the middle of it, we have our RSC LAN. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, that's where we are. There has never been more Rocket League going on than there is right now. And RSC Season 4 being made possible by our magnificent sponsors. Genisus Extreme, our broadcast sponsor, making sure we bring you this action in the best way we possibly can. And it's also been, it is the most sponsored RSC season we've ever had. Nearstream is going to be our big LAN sponsor, and they're getting more and more involved with us, providing all the equipment for LAN, some cameras and all of that good stuff. So thank you to them, helping us make the RSC, bringing you all the RSC action. And then, of course, the prize pool sponsor, Slayer Energy. And that prize pool growing all the time. You can still pre-order boxes of the custom community can of Slayer Energy. GG's Gamer Serum. The prize pool currently stands at 17,100 Rand and growing by 50 Rand with every box of Slayer that is ordered. And I know we are there's a lot of work being done to try and have this ready for the LAN in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure if that's going to pan out, but we hope it does. So there we go. Genisus Extreme, Near Stream, and Slayer Energy Drink bringing us RSC Season 4. And tonight, in Week 4, these are our matchups. Rival, Prospect, Rival, and Master. Monarch versus Shadow is our first series. Second series is Cosmico versus Omnius, and then Omnius versus Deathcloud, and then finally, in the Master tier, Ox Gaming versus Azura Gaming. That's what's happening right here and tonight, and you'll be very pleased to know that it seems like we've got our overlay up and running, so that sexy piece of deliciousness is our overlay is going to be with us tonight, and casting will be Hodge and Borky. Borky, of course, this is his second go round for the season, but Hodge, you're here for the first time in Season 4. Welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. I always love coming to the SSA streams and you know, seeing what this community is all about, because, you know, as I said, the community, it's got very much of a sense of a community feel, and you see that with, you know, all the sponsors, the LAN that's coming up, the Slayer Energy, you know, everyone's chipping in to make that prize pool even bigger. And, well, obviously, we've got a whole load of games here for, you know, for everyone's entertainment here tonight. It's the week of fours, right? RSC SSA 4, week 4. We've got 4 games tonight. Each of those have 4 games in them, and well, hopefully in about 4 minutes we can get that started, right, Borky?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. We got some very exciting matchups lined up here tonight, especially the one that's going to kick things off, the Queens and Nightfall game over in Rivals. That one's going to be quite contested in my opinion, but RSC, SSA, I love it. I'm so happy to be back, and it's just such a privilege. And, you know, my first cast was with the overlays. Well, what a treat that we get the overlays back.
Well, it is an important clash in the rival tier. Queens and Nightfall at second place in the league versus fourth in the league, and we are at that all-important time. You know, the first game is, you know, it doesn't really matter. You've got time. Second game, you've still got time. By the fourth week, you're now having to settle into your position to jockey and jockey hard. So, Borky, Hodge, I'm going to hand it over to you guys to talk us into the series and bring it to us.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Graybeard, but we have some action to play out here. It's Queens currently sitting number 2 within the conference, and Nightfall just without reach of that top 3, looking to break in. Queens sitting 2-1 right now, and then Nightfall ones across the board. They did have a draw, so it's going to be a close matchup here. I'm excited to see which way it might fall.
It's going to be an interesting one, right? Because, like you say, Queens, they've got that victory. They've also got that defeat. So they have experienced that loss. And for Nightfall, they've been everywhere. They've been to the win. They've been to the loss. They've been to the draw. They've experienced it all. And, well, let's see what they're going to experience here today. It's going to be a fun one here. But I was having a look at, you know, the different stats, who's played who, and I think, Borky, when you look at the stats of who's played who I think's got the better chance at this. I would personally put this to Queens. They took down in week 1 the number 1 team in the conference in Cosmico in a 3-1. So although both of those teams are currently on that sort of same record, I mean, this Queens team has already shown that they can beat teams at the top of that table. And well, Nightfall is still going to have to see that from them. They got a win over Deathcloud Shock, and I believe lost a game to one of the top teams as well. Drew a game against Gen 6. So it's going to be an interesting one here regardless, to see how things are shaping up here. Because like you mentioned, it's starting to get to that sort of halfway point of the season where it's crunch time. You need to be putting up those results. And if you're not, then, well, I guess you're just going to be watching those playoff hopes fall away from you.
Yeah, I mean, we've only 5 weeks remaining here now until we get to playoffs. It really does feel like every single game matters just that bit more. We know Queens currently on a little bit of a hot streak. We saw them over on the stream in week 2 fall against Shockwell. They're back on the stream now. Are the lights going to be too bright, or are they going to be able to continue their dominant streak? And for Nightfall, the real question is, what's it going to take to breach into that top 3? Well, that's all going to be decided here onto the pitch as game number 1 kicks off now.
It does. Game number 1 getting underway. We're wasting absolutely no time here so far in the SSA region. And, well, I mean, so far, you know, I say usually when we get into a game, we can have a little bit of time to talk about the matchup. But no, already Shadow looking to put some shots down on this Monarch goal line. And, well, the 50s are going to come through. So pretty defensive start here for Monarch. They're going to be looking to break out of this one. But looks like already they are, you know, being able to stabilize and showing that they're going to have that sort of perseverance.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing that has really stood out here for this Monarchs team is how good their defense has been throughout the entirety of these first 4 weeks. They're really good at being able to, you know, hold things down, not let anything falter yet. And as we get these first minute underway, it's going to be a quick counterattack opportunity, goes to the wayward side. But this follow-up from the Monarchs have been where they've punished time and time again.
Yeah, Shadow trying to take their time on the defense here, but that time is just rapidly decreasing as Monarch just seem to, when they get a bit of possession on this ball, really start to put the pincers on. But now, will they be able to do it again? Shot going to be just sort of off of that backboard. Another shot incoming, and, well, the last defender's not able to get on the end of it. Wise puts it in the back of the net. Monarch first goal.
Just great patience there from Wise. The comms, you can see, are flowing. Just the quick turn, getting it in. And that's something that just is really interesting to me. The first probably like 40 or so seconds of the game was all Monarch on defense. They find a way out of their own half, and then it was just absolutely suffocating. It's going to be a quick lofted shot from Milkman. Hits in and out of the post. And for Shadow, a sigh of relief because they're only still down 1.
Yeah, still down 1, and they're going to look to try and get themselves back into it. First off, it's getting out of this defensive half, and just going to be those slow 50s to get them there. Passing play opportunity, but it's not going to come into fruition. And Shadow is looking to take their time here. That's a passing play. That's a pass back. Now it's a free ball. A bit of a rush touch there by Luminia, and, well, is that just going to filter its way in? No way! Shadow, a collapse there, and it allows Monarch a way in.
You know, and how many times this game have we seen Milkman here just from like midfield lofting one towards net? We saw 2 that hit off of the post and out, but finally, 3rd time's the charm. It finds its way through, and for the Queens, off to a very strong start here. Gonna try to get another one towards net. Has to be forced away there by Kai. Quick follow-up finds itself into the hands of Lumina. With this nice clearance here, maybe a chance for Shadow.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be sent over to that side wall. Shadow reluctant to sort of challenge this, but got all the time to work with in the world. Kai just going to take that slow touch, going to take his time, and Shadow quite happy to, I guess, you know, park the bus for the meantime, but they don't really have the securance to do that. They're 2 goals down, make it 3. And the whiffs are coming through. It's not a good game state for Shadow. And Monarch just getting away with murder. Lovely fake there by Navid. I have to say, this is just exceptional from Monarch.
Yeah, Monarch really just seem to be the only ones really showing up for this opening game. You know, you don't want to get off onto the wrong foot. You do play 4 games regardless, but this first one is always going to be crucial. You get yourself established, get that confidence early in the game, and right now the Monarchs have been the ones with their foot on the pedal here. Milkman plays us here into the corner, has to beat out Lumina, does manage to get another touch. It's just going to be an assault here on the net. Nothing finding its way through. Another shot hanging off of the crossbar. But for the Monarchs, they're happy to just reset and put this pressure back in.
Yeah, well, backlines might have been isolated a little bit of a chance for that to be tapped in, but Meltman not going to be able to do just that. It's going to find its way back over to this Monarch side of the field, and they're going to be quite happy to just play this out, continue to hold possession, stall a bit of time off of that timer, and Shadow to be honest, at this point, might just be looking at game number 2 here to see what they can do in response to this opening game. Everyone needs a warm-up game, right? So I guess in a sense you can sort of forgive them for that, but it's going to be 4 here for Monarch. The backline's left open once again. And it feels like a very one-sided matchup in the sense that, like you talked about, Borky, earlier on, Monarch, what's really been a strong suit for them is their defense. Shadow struggling to get the simplest of defenses in.
Yeah, it just really hasn't been working out for them here. And I mean, the Monarchs, one thing they've been doing very phenomenal is this third man positioning. You know, you're not playing them too far forward. You're not giving up too much control over the pitch. So every time Shadow tries to get themselves out of their own final third, there's just somebody there to force them right back in, though. This is a nice play here by My Honest World, taking us here off of the ceiling. Doesn't manage to get it across because the demos are coming out. Monarchs just deleting Shadow off of the pitch and deleting their hopes of this game 1.
Oh, well, they'll get something for the road at least, maybe a little bit of momentum to build off of going into the next one. And I guess at the end of the day, it will be a whitewash of a victory here in game 1 for Monarch. Not the crowning one quite yet. That's going to come in the next couple, hopefully, if they keep this up. But Shadow, they've got a lot to do to turn this around. And it all starts in these last couple of seconds, right? Get that little bit of hopium, copium, whatever you want to call it. Get that little bit of momentum in the tank, in the back pocket, and see what you can do from there. Looks like Luminia will have a free ball here, but challenged out. And, I mean, you know, 15 seconds left, but this is all wrapped up. This is all done. I mean, Borky, it really is just as simple as you need to get that defense a little bit more collected, because these easy whiffs, these, I guess, missed touches can't keep happening.
No, I mean, it definitely doesn't help your case here. Ball, a bit of a 0-second drill. All it needs to do is touch the ground. Monarchs do have this game, but that one goal for Shadow, that's nice. You know, it's a good confidence booster. Whenever you go a long time without scoring, you kind of wonder how hard is it going to be to get the first one in. Well, you got that done and out of the way. You're able to brush it aside and come back into the next one. But this first opening game, Milkman, your clear standout player here.
Oh, no, absolutely. I mean, it's such a standout player there for Monarch in game 1, excuse me. But then when we look over at the other side, Shadow, I mean, you know, they got a goal. That's pretty much all they were able to do, right? I mean, I'd like to see that saves number tick up a little more, because it really felt like I said a couple of times now, the defense was a little bit lacking. Obviously, they don't want to be making saves, they want to be scoring goals, but you got to take what you can get at this point in the game and really build off of it. So we'll see what they're able to do going into game number 2 here, Borky. But a very positive first game here for the Monarch Queens. And well, I guess in a sense, every game counts, right? It is that 4-game series format. It does go off of those win percentages. So even being able to secure that one game can help you out when it does come to maybe those tiebreakers later on in the season to give you the edge over some of those other teams. So, you know, every game counts, and that's the first game secured from Queens. They're obviously going to want to keep on going, but for Nightfall, it's just about taking it one game at a time, right?
Yeah, you just kind of have to come into each game with a clean slate. Yeah, it didn't go exactly your way to start things off, but you're not out of it. If you just completely blow off the series off of that first game, then it's not going to do you much regards in the later run of the season. So for Nightfall, there were a couple positives. You know, you've managed to get that goal. You have some of those micro victories that you can take in with you. But I agree with you. I want to see more saves from Nightfall. The 11 shots to only 1 save there. You need to step up a lot more there on the defensive department. Well, game number 2, they have plenty of chances to do that.
They do indeed. Into match number 2 we go. And, well, let's see if it's going to be the redemption arc for Shadow after that disappointing game number 1 performance. Off of this side wall, Milkman going to have a free touch over to a teammate, but Shadow getting that beat, a little bit of aggression coming through from them in the early stages of game number 2, and it's something we didn't really see from them much in game 1, right? It was a lot of defense, a lot of whiffs, but this time they start out on the front foot.
You have to love this just complete reform here for Shadow. I know in the opening game we saw the first 40 seconds going their way. Well, they take advantage of it this time. They get themselves up here. It's a great way to come back, especially after a loss. You know that things are looking a bit more even here. You just need to keep that offensive identity alive.
Do need to do just that. And they're doing it. I mean, you see this ball once again in that Monarch side of the field, probably already more than it was for the entire of game number 1. But infield it goes. That's a shooting opportunity taken away. Great defense coming through from Monarch, making those saves. But back down. This is where Shadow really start to get tested here. Can they change and right the wrongs of game 1 when they're now tested in that defense? A little bit of a touch there. Did make contact, but not quite the clear they were looking for. And it's going to allow Monarch to restart the attack here in this Shadow half of the field. Demo's coming through. That's going to alleviate some pressure. Or is it, as the shot comes right back in? And I'm a lot more impressed, I have to say, with what I'm seeing from Shadow here.
Yeah, Shadow's really holding their own here as the clock continues to tick down into this game. We saw last game. At this point, Monarch was just absolutely unrelenting. Well, Shadow taking a page out of their own book here. We'll see Kai pushing this one past the mid line. Will be followed up here by Lumina. Milkman has to scramble to get it out. Left on an island here is Naveed, but he does manage to get the crucial touch. Teammate comes back in the nick of time. Wise, though, gonna flip the pitch, looking for this infield pass. Connects, but the shot on target is pushed aside.
Getting fancy with it here in the rival tier. But, I mean, it's not going to result in anything. Monarch still looking for that goal. Have they found it? It looks like it will just be off target, and there is still that man back. Kai going to be able to touch it over to that sidewall, set up a teammate. Shadow finding a lot better fortunes here. Now the demo going to come through. This is a free ball here for Monarch. And, well, it will just be back over to that sidewall popped up. That's not going to, I guess, be the touch that Monarch were hoping for. It's not the passing play they were hoping to try and create there. But Wise on that backboard if needed. Everyone positioned very, I guess, front-facing here for Monarch. And it will be over to that corner. So 2 minutes still left on the clock here. Monarch, yeah, we've seen what chances they could create. So I'm not worried at all here, but got to get a bit of a move on.
Yeah, I mean, we are now south of halfway through this game here. It just kind of seems like things have stalemated out. Nobody wants to really give up a mistake. And for Shadow, well, they're going to be perfectly okay with just letting this clock continue to run out. They have that 1-goal lead. We're going to have a little bit of offense ensue here. A battle in the corner. Trying to get this one here into the midfield. Will be cleared from the backboard. Wise collects behind the ball, trying to follow us all the way through in front. Nice bump there as well. Sets up this shot. Going to be on target, but not a lot of power behind that one.
Well, infield again it is. The shot taken. And not going to result in anything, but that aggression still continues to be a factor here for Monarch. They're diving at everything, but Shadow's defense so much better than what we once saw. And they will get that clear over to the halfway line. Milkman going to pop it up for a teammate. The passing play is starting to come through. They need to be a little bit more on target. The shooting needs to be a little bit better. Can they rewrite their fortunes here with a minute left on the clock? Not quite. And Shadow still holding that lead here. Monarch being denied on every opportunity. Still a couple left potentially.
This defense for Shadow has definitely come alive here. They have continued to hold on, but here comes the bumps. Here comes the awkwardness. It's a great clear, but they're not out of the woods just yet. Another follow-up here from the Monarchs. Keeps the ball in the midfield, but nobody there. Allows us to change possession for just a moment. Final 30 now ticking on the screen. And for the Monarchs, they need something now here, or this game's going to end in regulation.
Well, let's see if that's going to be happening, or maybe we're going to get some late second magic here. Possession held by Shadow, trying to just slow play this, but well, Monarch, they want to pick the pace right back up as the timer flashes above your screen. 2 seconds, 1 second, the floor is now lava, but what can Monarch do under the heat? It looks like nothing much. Maybe no, it's kept alive, kept up in the air. And it will be cleared over to that halfway line. And, well, it looks like it will just fizzle out. But no, it's still kept up. Shadow want to ground this, and they will. and answer things right back. A massive improvement in game number 2, and Shadow tied the series.
Ooh, one apiece now here into the series. We can definitely see a well-reformed Shadow in this one. And I mean, it was still a very impressive performance there from Monarch. They were right back to the regularly scheduled program of keeping that pressure, but the big game changer for Shadow was just denying those infield passes. We saw Monarch wanting them. They kept looking for it, but every time just somebody from Shadow read the play through before it could develop, and that just kind of fizzled them out.
It felt like overall Shadow had a lot more control of the possession in that game, right? Whereas a lot of the time it was just Monarch creating passing plays, putting on aggression, and really locking Shadow in their half. Whereas this time, when Shadow were able to alleviate that pressure with some extra things like demos, you see 5 demos there on the counter that were coming through, with loads of impact found there by Kai and Orange World. But overall, it felt like when Shadow were able to alleviate that pressure, get more of I guess, a stance in the other team's half of the field, they were able to create so much more plays in general, get more creative across the field, start putting those passing plays together for themselves, and obviously pick up that goal that was able to get that win over the line and tie up the series. This has now made the rest of the series a little bit more interesting for me, because after that, I was a bit more convinced we were going to get a 4-0 sweep, to be completely honest with you. But now things have really picked up here at Borky, and game number 3 is going to be an interesting one for sure.
Yeah, and one thing I just want to point out about that game as well, that only goal of that game 2 came in the opening minute of it, and then the rest of it was just scoreless, but it was still so intense down to the final seconds. The ball just refusing to hit the ground, and well, Shadow came to play. The sweep is out of question here for both of these teams, but will either of them come away with it, or are we looking at a draw? It's gonna be a quick pitch to start things off, though. Oh my goodness, look at the speed behind this one.
Shadow not wasting any time. Orange World just taking the shot from the midfield, the halfway line, and it was so quick that no one on Monarch could quite get to it. First goal secured 7 seconds in. This is a little bit of a pace change and a welcome one at that, but Monarch couldn't find a response in the last 5 minutes to that first goal from Shadow. What can they do here now in game number 3? The 50 found. Can they find that double, or will it just be the possession shift over to Shadow? And, well, it looks like right now, Monarch, they're taking those individual touches, but not really thinking of it team-wise. It's a lot of these solo plays, but now, will it be good enough? As the shot found? No, it's just missed.
Oh, you need to connect on those. Monarch have been almost 6 minutes now scoreless here in the series, which is a complete shock considering how many goals they put up in that opening game. Milkman trying to get them back here. The shot's going to come in. It's going to be wide on the rebound. Luckily, though, a little scramble back keeps things safe for a little bit on the Monarch side, but a huge wasted opportunity.
Definitely for sure. Touchdown to that side wall. Corner bound as well. Shadow looking for more. Not quite content with this 1-goal lead. Not quite content with the fortunes they find themselves in. And is that just going to roll in? Yes, it is. The defense has gone to walk the dog. And, well, they might have forgotten to pick up the dog poo that they left behind. And Kai making them feel the impact for sure.
That's such a lovely 50 there from Kai as well, just playing it so patiently. And by the time that 50 comes through, nobody on Monarch was around open net, fully taking advantage. We have 2 players up here from Shadow on the offense, maybe looking for a bit of a team play or a fake. This one cleared down the side by Milkman, dropped in front of net. Follow up, no, once again, still placed too high above the woodwork. And that's really just coming back to haunt them time and time again. Milkman has to clear us out. Crucial touch there. Manages to keep the save. And for the Monarchs, they just need something to go their way to get that confidence back.
Yeah, they do. And maybe this will be it. A little bit of an attack starting to brew here. Touch. Oh, that's a great touch, actually, but no one's there for the receiving end of it. I think it surprised them themselves, to be completely honest with you there, Borky. But Monarch starting to put together the pieces. Can they find the final piece of this jigsaw puzzle? Or maybe just the first one they need to keep things going? A little bit of a squishy save there from Shadow as they're getting creative on the defense. Something that was not quite anything we'd see back in game number 1. But now things have took a turn for the better. And on the side of Monarch, they need to start, I guess, looking, searching to see what they can find themselves. 2 minutes still left on the clock, so a lot of time to work with. But we've seen the pace change here in this second half of the series. And, well, it's one team who's thriving in it and one team who's struggling to match it.
Yeah, it's just looking like Shadow have all the answers here for the touches that Monarch tried to put in. I mean, we're just seeing the confidence growing here for Shadow as well. They're going for so many of these passes, trying to get everyone involved in it. They're insta-challenging here in the midfield as well. Just not a lot of breathing room for the Queens. This one, though, will find its way around one. Save there off of the back wall touch from Onij. Kept in by Melkman, though. Melkman was so important in that game. One win, but every time they're trying to will their team back to life, it's just pushed away again and again.
Well, that's a great passing play. The finish isn't there. And it was the same to be said on the side of Monarch earlier on. It's got to be a quicker as that second man. And that speed still struggling to be matched here across the field. But now down to that 1 minute mark. Can that shot connect? No. Great defense, great save coming through. But a bit of a float here for Navids. Trying to get some sort of possession here for Monarch. And now they might have caught out the defense, but no, Kai's back. Shadow still not letting anything in, time and time again.
It just seems like, what can the Queens do? Time and time again, Shadow just keep denying them, shutting them out of this game yet again. So far here, it has been 9 minutes scoreless, an opportunity, no, to the wayward side, pushed away Kai, quick counter attack. We will just fall once again in favor here for Shadows. They're the ones controlling everything. Owner's World trying to get another pass, just keeping this ball contained here on the Monarch side, playing a nice game of keep away.
Yeah, well, as those seconds tick down, and another shot goes in, 3-0 to cap off game number 3. Shadow, they've woken up, and they've woken up with a vengeance in these past 2 games, securing themselves the guaranteed draw and hunting for that 3-1 victory. This team has come out of the shadows that they found themselves in game number 1, and stepped into the light. Well, as they go to game number 4 after these 5 seconds, going to look to put that crown on their head at the end of this series. And, well, we'll stay tuned to find out if it is going to be that 3-1 victory or if it is going to be that draw.
Oh, but right now, it just really looks like Shadow has everything figured out. That game 1 was so shaky. I mean, the Queens came out swinging. We both kind of were sitting here thinking, okay, is this going to be a sweep? Well, Shadow completely flipping the narrative here. A great performance across the board from all of them. And look at those saves. There are 10 saves on the side of Shadow. So it's not to say Monarch aren't getting opportunities. They just can't get it through.
Yeah, I mean, and it wasn't even like we saw in game number 2 where Shadow didn't necessarily have a lot of the possession, a lot of the pressure. They were quite happy to sit and let Monarch take shot after shot at their net. And when you count them, there's 12 shots that Monarch took at that Shadow net. They were not able to put one of them in the back of that net. I mean, talk about an improvement on the defense there from Shadow. From game number 1 to now, that is character development here for that team. And like I say, everyone needs that warm-up game, but Shadow have certainly found themselves coming online here and are now looking to close the series with a 3-1 victory. Important to note as well that Monarch are playing their min player in Navids as well, so might be playing a sub game. I know some teams opt to play their main player on their main roster, so not sure how that's quite working out for them, but if they're playing a sub game, that could be, one of the reasons why they're not having the same performance as they have been so far this season. But you have to give it to Shadow at the same time. An incredible performance from them here today, especially in these past 2 games, looking to close it out. We'll see what they're able to do. But, well, Borky, it certainly has been a series here for Shadow. Can they cap it off with a dub?
Well, game number 4 all comes down to this. Monarchs set themselves up in a position early to at least get a draw here if they are able to pick things up a little bit. Might have to call on Milkman to have that game 1 performance if he's feeling it. But for Shadow, they can just lock down that defense as they've done so far. It's going to just absolutely be like such a tall task here for the Queens to get back into this one. It's been 10 minutes since they've gotten their last goal. You got 4 in the first and then nothing else to write home about.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see who's able to I guess, put their best foot forward here early on in game number 4 of this 4-game series. And maybe we won't actually, because never mind, maybe we won't get to see that, but as our producer loads back into the game, then hopefully we'll be able to see this match play out and see who's able to take the lead here in this one, Borky, because I'm excited to see what these teams have to offer, and excited to see if Monarch can most notably bounce back.
Yeah, well, in that little brief glimpse that we got to see of that game number 4, it kind of did look like
hey, just in time.
Okay.
I mean, we're not wasting around. Monarch, I mean, you said their name and they score a goal. First goal on the board here, road to redemption.
Well, I was just saying that their offensive pressure was definitely coming back, showing some of that former life here. And I mean, it's definitely true. They have the opening goal here in the game. It's a complete flip of how games 2 and 3 went. So, hey, good looks here for the Monarchs. We might not have been able to see it, but no, it happened.
Well, I mean, why not just build up the tension for the goal, obviously? I mean, I think what happened is production just knew that we were going to come back and have a dramatic goal instantly. So Monarch really sort of shaking things up here in game number 4. Let's see if Shadow can continue to add another element into this series. A bit of a misread there on that side wall, and now things get chaotic here for Shadow. Navids try and lands on it, but not able to, and that's just cleared downfield. Milkman getting a touch to that back wall. Is that a favourable touch? Not really, and it might just go top shelf. It might just go anywhere but the back of the net. Oh. What a 50 on the defense. Monarch keep things at 1-0 here, and I mean, this is just brutal for Shadow, who they feel like they're gonna, I guess, have earned that goal, but it won't happen.
It was halfway through. All they had to do was push it away, but Monarch held. The line is strong there on the goal line. And for Shadow, it's now back to the drawing boards, trying to get yourselves that equalizer if you can. But man, what a hold there from the Queens. Milkman playing this one forward, doesn't manage to get it in front. It is going to just be kept away back into the midfield here. Popped up high. Good team play. Pass over to Navarez, who takes a shot, but doesn't quite connect.
Well, I mean, so far so good here for Monarch, it has to be said, right? They've had a great start to this game number 4. Shadow gonna try and fight back still. This Slayer ball has found its way around this map to every sort of position possible, it seems. And Shadow going to be looking to try and put that Slayer ball in the back of the net. It is going to be a missed touch though, and that just doubles the lead here for Monarch. They're eating good tonight and maybe going to be able to get themselves that draw after all.
You kind of have to wonder, where was this Queens in those other 2 games? Maybe they were realizing the threat that Shadow is of sneaking into that top 3, and they want to make sure that their placement at the top remains strong. Well, newfound life here for the Monarchs. They're going to hopefully be able to keep on to this 2-goal lead here with this pressure developing, and the third sunk down from Milkman. it seems, but it's all certain that this one's heading in a draw direction.
That's a shot right there as well. 124. Defense couldn't get on the end of it. Monarch 3-0. Monarch looking to close this out with that draw. And, well, I mean, Shadow, they'd love to have something to say about it, but Monarch, I'm not sure if they're going to let them.
Yeah, Monarch, well, just a minute here left to play. Need to just keep things under control. You can't get complacent now. Needs to just continue playing your game. It's a big double commit there. But Shadow able to just navigate out of it for now. There is not a lot of time left on the cards here for Shadow, though, so things look like they're just gonna run away, and that surely is the nail in the coffin.
You'd have to think so, right? Monarch have re-established themselves here in game number 4 with a destructive, I guess, dominance over Shadow here on the Estadio Vida, and going to be looking to walk away with those 2 game wins. And, well, unfortunately, we have to mention the 2 game losses for them as well. But I think playing with that lower player on their team, they'll probably take it, to be completely honest with you. And for a team who got 2 wins and 1 loss, they're still in a pretty good position in the table standings. But now they've experienced it all, at least. They've been there, got the t-shirt, and well, the draw will also be added to their how do I say it? Added to their experience.
It's really funny to me here how this game is just playing out exactly how that first one did. Monarchs with their 4 goals, and of course Shadow with barely any time left do get some consolation there. But Monarchs, you kind of were getting beaten up on for those past 2 games. Good way to get yourselves back into it and secure that draw. Ball just needs to touch the ground here, and we'll be done with this series. We'll have a nice little scramble here with 0 seconds. Can't let it touch the ground. Not going to be connected. Monarchs take game number 4. 2-2 is our final series scoreline.
Yeah, and what a series it was, right? It felt like a lot of the times in that series, you could look at it and go, right, yeah, this team's winning. Yeah, the clear favorites right now, they're going to dominate. And every time we thought that, it felt like Rocket League just said no. Just remember what game this is. And and the switch up was always there on every single angle. Monarch answering back here, tying that series, and well, some great stats there. I have to say the shooting percentage was a lot better when you look at that. I mean, over the course of that game, they put together 10 shots, 4 of them went in. You're looking at last game, 12 shots, and I mean, no goals to show for it, so big improvements there.
Yeah, huge improvement. I mean, that whole game just kind of felt like a whole step up there for the Monarchs. I mean, game number 1, they came out swinging. We thought, okay, this might be a sweep. Then all of a sudden, Shadow just came out of nowhere, ran away with the series, and it took a little bit, but the Queens, they regained. They got their tiebreaker, and I mean, it's exactly everything you would want in a series. It's a draw, so no winner, but plenty of action.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think we've got to get the thoughts and opinions of someone else as well. I mean, we've yapped for quite a bit here, Borky. So, Greybeard, I mean, you've sat and watched that from, I guess the bird's eye view of the stream in the green room. What happened?
And it was perfect. It was fabulous. It's a dead heat, and it was bookended by the 2 dominant performances by the Queens, and then 2 excellent performances in the middle from Shadow. Honestly, after that first series, I thought, oh my goodness, it just felt like it was going to be a runaway for the Queens, and Shadow were going to get horribly humbled. But man, to their credit, coming back. But then they got complacent at the end. It was really, really good. And I don't know from your guys' perspective who the big performers were. For me, in series 2 and 3, Onage was definitely doing a lot of work there. But Borky, your players of the series.
Well, I sung his praises highly during all the during the RSC prospecting phases when teams were looking at their rosters. But Melkman really stood
Yeah.
out to me. You know, that first and fourth game was a key piece for why they were able to win in such a dominant fashion. But even in those second and third games, was still not giving up. Every time we saw one of those crazy shots go on net, it was Melkman who was behind it, but Shadow just happened to have the better defense then.
This does mean a little gap has opened up for Cosmico. If they can do well in their next series, they have the potential to widen a little bit of a gap, because this is Queens Monarchs' first draw of the season, and Nightfall go up on their, well, they now have 1 win, 1 loss, and 2 draws. So it does definitely tighten things up there in the rival table. And what is amazing me, and Borky, I don't know if you can, so much is going on these days, it's hard to remember what happens one season to the next. But I competed for the first time in my life. I competed in something in RSC last season, and it was, I just wasn't very good in that environment. But I was in rival, and I'm looking at the skill level of what these players are doing, and I'm just amazed that this is rival. I mean, this is master tier 4 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just crazy how much the skill level for Rocket League is just increasing and increasing. Because myself sitting there as a champ 3, I'm watching these games, I'm like, man, if that's rival, then I belong in Prospect.
All right, well, there we go. That's our first rival game of the night. We now turn our attention to the Prospect tier, and over in Prospect, it is Cosmico versus Omnius. And Hodge, if you're, it's a little bit of a Omnius need to make a bit of a statement. They're languishing a little bit down in 7th place, but Cosmico riding high in 2nd. So they're gonna wanna keep that going. But opportunity now for Omnius to get themselves back into contention.
Yeah, very much so. And when you look at this so far for Cosmico, if they had already played their 4th series, then they would, I guess, be top of the table potentially. Or if Deathcloud hadn't played their 4th series, they would be top of the table right now with a 91% win rate, which is absurd, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna mean that this Rise team is gonna have to put together one heck of a series here to take down a team with a 91% win rate. I can't wait to watch.
Well, the higher they rise, the further they have to fall. Gentlemen, bring us series 2 of the night. Prospect here, Omnius versus Deathcloud.
Well, I think we've said it all here. The picture is quite clear for Cosmico, currently sitting 2nd in the conference, but with the conclusion of this game have the potential to catapult up into 1st. And for Rise, well, they're sitting right outside of that playoff contention spot. We talked about it earlier. I mean, yes, there's time, but not a lot. There's only 5 weeks before we get to the playoffs, so you need to make your stand now here. If you're Omnius, if you're Rise, you got to get a statement going. What a good team to do it against than the number 2 Cosmico.
I mean, yeah, what a time to get the season rolling. Rise, they've got a win, a loss, and a draw. Cosmico, they've got 3 wins on the board. So I'm looking at this, and all they need really to take 1st place in the division is to pretty much get a draw, and I think they'd be guaranteed to take 1st place. So that's what they're going to be looking for here today. But Rise, they're just looking to make a statement, right? This is going to be a game that they've got to prove themselves. And we're in a different division right now. We're in the Prospect division. So I think I've got to, I guess, change the atmosphere a little bit and make it make it look like that. So let's get the room to sort of fit the appearance as well. And well, I can't wait to get the prospect game here for the night started, Borky. It really is a bit more of a I don't want to say David versus Goliath because we're only like week 4, and it feels really bad to say that, but a team in 7th versus a team who hasn't really lost. They've only lost 1 game so far this season. I mean, it's really looking like a difficult matchup here for Rise.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty fair to call it a Goliath situation, though, when you're looking at a team that has a 91% win rate. That is absolutely ludicrous. Well, Cosmos looking to continue that trend, and for Rise, I mean, we've talked about it. You need to get the wheels on the ground at some point. Well, what a better place to do it than now. Game number 1 here. It is Prospects. I know people are looking forward to that Masters game later, but for me, this might be the most entertaining.
It's certainly always an entertaining situation getting to watch the lowest tier of any league, whether it be EU, SSA, or any other league, be it as well. And I have to say, I always, love to see the entertainment. You get to see the whiffs come through. You get to see the amazing moments when they do happen as well. You get it all here in the Prospect Division. But so far, starting out this first game, nothing to show for either side just yet. Cosmico going to maybe have a chance at this first goal early on, but it's going to be just taking up this side wall, and they're just going to look to keep this possession going, right? It's about establishing an early lead in the series, and while that shot's not going to connect, it's still just going to, I guess, set the tone here in the early stages.
Yeah, and I mean, this first game's all about just figuring out what makes the other team tick, finding any of those chinks in the armor that you can to breach through that defense. Right now, though, Cosmico doing a good job of keeping Omnius pinned on their own final third. These shots are coming in. The defense has to hold, but you can't hold forever, as this one is just going to be lofted up just at the right height. Nobody's getting a hand on this one.
Yeah, no one is. Cosmico taking the first goal, and it's their min player of Simple stepping up here to put that first goal in the back of the net. Cosmico looking strong, looking like they already own the pitch. And I mean, we've only seen like 1.5 minutes of this matchup so far. I'm excited to see what Pixel Glitch can do here to get this ball downfield. It will be taken into, I guess, the grasp of Cosmico as they look to restart this attack. 50, that's not a positive 50. It's not in the back of the net just yet, but the follow-up shot also high. Another one taken, blocked out. The shooting has to be better than that, but at the same time, great defense by Cosmico.
Yeah, Cosmico really, just kind of collecting themselves, waiting for that shot to fall on target, and when it does, they were all over. But Omnius, I'm all for micro wins. That's another one that they were able to collect that time. You're getting some good looks, some shots on net, but you have to be careful because here comes Simple trying to drop this down. It's a follow-up from Bruv, but the janitorial duty doesn't connect this time, and Omnius still only 1 down here. North of halfway, so plenty of time to work themselves back into this, unless this shot's just gonna find its way in. A beautiful placed little chip shot from Berserker.
You love to see it, right? I mean, the shots that are just nice to watch, and that's one of them. Doesn't necessarily always have to be the fastest of shots, but one that just sort of rolls in perfectly. It's almost just satisfying to watch. And Cosmico double up on their early success, but now Ominous, they're going to look to see what they can sort of bring back in this matchup. We've seen them have a little bit of possession, a little bit of chances here and there, but overall, has been Cosmico's show. And, well, 50 in the midfield going to help them maybe get control of this possession a little bit. I want to see them play a little bit faster if possible. But there we go. Here's the early jump. Here's the shot, but it is just going to be over to Bruv. He's going to save that one away. And, well, it will be, I guess, back to the drawing board in their own half from Ominous.
Yeah, and you speak about quicker. That's kind of what I want to see here. It just seems like right now Cosmico is just outpacing Omnius in a couple of these categories. It's going to be a nice shot that comes in, but of course it's the Cosmico defender so quick behind that ball, just popping it right back out. This one will be cleared downfield. Eddie, can he get behind this, or is Berserker going to have some nice control? Eventually falls into his lap, leaves it here for a teammate. Follow up on the double touch. Does go a bit wide.
Yeah, well, this Omnius team going to look to try and get control of it, but it will just be Cosmico who picked this one up and sort of swat it straight out there. Feels like that's really been the story of this game so far. Everything Omnius try, Cosmico just sort of beat us away just like that without really much of a challenge. They've got to start coming more online as a team. You can't let Cosmico get space, get time to work with, because just put together plays that you really can't counter. And no one's been able to counter them so far yet this season. 3 wins, a 4-0, a 4-0, and a 3-1. And you can't really scoff at that. But 45 seconds left. I mean, there's still chances here for Omnius, but when we look at the overall context of the game, it's looking unlikely.
Oh, I mean, you can just look at the communication that's here for Cosmico. You know, you had Simple run in there, get a demo, and then instantly looking for a teammate that he could pass that to after what he set up. It's going to be another one there that forces a player on the backboard to jump. And I mean, we can clearly see why Cosmico are in the position that they are in standings, why they've only dropped 1 game completely, because they just seem a lot more cohesive right now.
They do. 5 seconds left on the clock. Cosmico, a destructive charge in game number 1, taking it 2-0. And I mean, to be completely honest with you, Omnius, they might have had a bit of possession here and there, but there was nothing really that threatening apart from, you know, the pinch that went downfield that I guess maybe you can look back on and go, you know, they could have had that one. But still then, I feel like Cosmico had that game under a spell.
Yeah, no, but I do want to give full credit here to Omnius for only keeping Cosmico at 2 goals here in this game. You know, Cosmico, one of the leading scorers here over in Prospect. So for Omnius to, you know, put up a bit of a stand there, really make Cosmico have to work for some of those goals, it does set them up to look, you know, a lot better heading into the next one. And I don't want to write anything off. We saw how that first series played here earlier in Rivals went. We thought surely this is going to be a 4-0 after that first game. Well, it doesn't matter how you start the race, but how you finished. And for Omnius, with those couple of good looks, they can definitely get themselves back in.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely ways that they can do that. It's just about taking things one step at a time, and the next step for them is to, I guess, start putting together those team plays, start scoring them goals, and hopefully work towards taking some victories as well. As difficult as taking wins off of this Cosmico team has been for any team so far, you know, you've got to start somewhere. And you've got to start by getting yourself that win on the board here if you are Omnius. But into game number 2 we will go, and we'll see if Omnius are going to maybe have another crack at it to see if they're going to have any more success here as we jump onto the pitch. And already Cosmico looking like they've got control of the early game.
Oh, but Pixel Glitch might have something else to say about this one. We'll get some possession here. Has a teammate already jumping up from the midfield pass. Won't be able to connect before Cosmico breaks it up. But some very strong looks here for Ominous to start things off. And that's exactly what you need. You can't show any bit of fear to this Cosmico team. And when you come out of the gates like that, they're going to start respecting you a little bit more on the pitch.
Yeah, like early on, that Cosmico are going to have some control there, but it was ripped away from them, and that's what I want to see here from Ominous, really just sort of not respecting Cosmico in that sense. And I mean, Cosmico have maybe been respected a little bit too much there. They're just able to take that free touch. Omnius not able to get anything on that 50, and well, it will be in the back of their net. Cosmico starting off in game number 2 on the same tune, the same song, the same wavelength that they ended game number 1 on.
Will be Omnius looking for a quick response now. They do just need to show their teeth here. Eddie pops his one over. Pixel Glitch up, has to beat out. Simple won't be able to accomplish that. Instead, we recycle back here to the midfield as another one lofted towards target. Good clearance of the backboard. Sets up a big miss there in the midfield, though. You don't like to see that because it just allows Cosmico right back in, right back on the offensive pressure. And it's a couple looks that from both of these teams that I thought should have gone in that just weren't connecting.
Well, Omnius gonna continue to have cracks at this Cosmico defense, but time and time again, Cosmico pick it up, pass it in, and well, put the ball in the back of the net, it seems. 3-0, the aggregate scoreline across the series right now. And well, if this keeps up across the next 3 minutes, we're going to be looking at 2-0 in the series. Omnius trying to take it over to the sidewall, but Simple not going to let that happen. It's just a barrage past everyone on the Omnius team. And Cosmico now to see what they can do. Omnius have control. What can they do with it? Popped up. Let's go. Here is looks to this ball, but it just gets beaten. And Pixel Glitch now to send it downfield. Cosmico, what a floating in the air. Maybe, I guess, leaves it for his teammate. That's a great save from Berserker to keep this at a 1-0 scoreline. But Borky, it just seems like every single time that Omnius have something, it just gets torn away from them.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the looks, they're coming more and more. They're getting closer. They just need to keep it up. You can't stop giving, you can't, sorry about that. You can't just let your foot off the pedal now. Just because it's not going your way, you have to keep trying and trying again, because you're eventually going to wear down Cosmico. It's a weird sentence to say, but there have been times where they looked a little bit shaky, especially in that final third. And if Omnius can take advantage of that, they might be able to get themselves back into this game here. But they do need to find their way out of their own side of the pitch here first. Cosmico doing a good job of developing some pressure.
Well, yeah, Cosmico looking well in control here. The triple commit comes through, but who cares if you still put the ball in the back of the net, I guess. We love to see that from Cosmico. I would love to see a little bit more pushback from Omnius, but like you say, they're getting those chances here and there, and it's only a matter of time if you continue to put your foot on the gas pedal. But unfortunately for them, it's looking more like they took their foot off the clutch a bit too quickly and stalled the car.
Yeah, most definitely. We will see Lux getting a nice touch there. Pushes it in. Pixel Glitch, been a name we've called a lot here for this Omnius side. Has been a catalyst for a lot of these offensive pushes. However, this time stalled out before it become too dangerous. Pixel Glitch gonna pick the pocket here. Get this ball taking us up high. Simple though. Quick challenge, quick commit. Leaves it for a teammate when it drops down, but Omnius still remaining scoreless here, and it's so awkward on the goal line. Left in an island, and bruv, he finds it perfectly placed around the defender.
Yeah, and he's just not able to make contact with it. And that will leave the gates open for Cosmico to pick up another one. He talked about Pixel Glitch and the opportunities that he's creating on the field here, that Ominous, are trying to take advantage of, but not quite able to. I've played against Pixel Glitch in RSC EU, and he's a very annoying player to play against. The thing I've always said about him is you've got to look out for his demos. He's always causing chaos on the field. I'd like to see that a little bit more as well on rotations, breaking down the Cosmico defense here and there on those rotates, and really just sort of, I guess, trying to set his teammates up for success. And, well, I guess the change-up is going to be necessary here from Omnius, because they find themselves 4-0 down in game number 2, 2-0 down in the series, and, well, it's looking like there's no signs of improvement here going into game number 3. They've got to think of something to change things up here.
Much needed change does have to come. You know, you only conceded 2 the first game. Well, now it's 4 in the second game. Cosmico definitely are titans here in the prospect division. And for Omnius, well, you were talking about those demos. That might be the key ingredient, because when we just loft some shots towards net, somebody from Cosmico is going to be there to save it. And then this midline has just been killing Omnius. How many shots that have been allowed to come in from this point.
Yeah, and I think what Omnius need, right, is just a goal. They just need a goal from somewhere at some time to kickstart that momentum. I'd like to see it early on in game number 3, just to get that sort of belief, that fire in their own bellies, because 7-0, the scoreline in total, if you count the goals from both games. I mean, Cosmico, they're looking for a perfect sweep here, and, well, on the side of Omnius Gaming, they're looking for the draw now, so we'll see if they're going to be able to do it, but I have to say, I'm loving what I'm seeing from Cosmico in general. A star performance from them as they look to continue on with their essentially perfect season so far, only dropping one singular game.
Oh, well, I mean, it's very hard to dispute why they've been performing so well. Just the way everyone's been playing. Brav, especially in this game here, 4 goals. Didn't even notice the hat tricks. Watch. Well, full credit to them. And then just over on the side of Omnius, I mean, we mentioned Pixel Glitch, but he needs somebody to step up for him.
It does feel like that way, and you know, it's often difficult here in the prospect division because obviously you've got your sort of less experienced players, and for them, I think in the lower tiers, mentality is such a big thing, right? Because you feel like a lot of the times when you make these mistakes, which do happen in the lower divisions, you feel like, you know, oh, I shouldn't have let that in, and you want to put yourself down over it. I think a lot of the time in the lower divisions, it's a mentality thing, right? You've got to be able to have that resilience, get back up and get back on the horse in a way here. And that's what Omnius have got to do here. They've got to get back up and continue to stay fighting, because like you said, in this tier, if you take your foot off the gas for 1 second, things can all collapse before your very eyes. But let's see what this team of Omnius are going to be able to change it up in game number 3, as hopefully in a second we'll head down onto the field and see if they're just playing for a game or if they're playing for, you know, maybe just that draw, if they're able to get that game 3 over the line. And we do have a little bit of an update for you, that we're just taking a quick pause here as well. The substitute is going to be being brought in for one of these teams. I assume it's Omnius, but we'll wait to hear if that is going to be the case. But Borky, I mean, do you reckon if the substitute was for Omnius, do you reckon that would help them? And we will have this game underway, so I'll let you answer that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just talking about something needs to change, and it does appear that it will be on the side here of Omnius, as Frencha is stepping up into that 3rd man position. So, you know, just at this point, just kind of throw everything at it, see what works, see what lands and sticks. And for Omnius, well, I'm going to be closely watching to see how Frencha is able to adjust to this roster. You know, you're kind of thrown into a bit of a shaky situation here. You're down 2 games here in the series. If Cosmico gets 1 more, they're going to win it. So we'll have to keep close attention, but it is Brav here who's looking to run up that scoring again. Oh, it's going to be... Is this another substitute here for Cosmico as well?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm having a look at it. I think it might be. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. So both teams making those substitutes, and I guess in a way, both able to get some sub games in nonetheless. But the first goal has been secured here by Cosmico, and regardless of who's on the pitch, it seems that the story stays the same. But I mean, you know, like you mentioned, it can be sort of difficult to come into a series and have to sort of come back from this, especially if you're Omnius here. But I've, you know, spoken to a lot of GMs, a lot of captains across RSC in, you know, a couple of the different regions, and I see the same sentiment across a couple of different teams of people saying, we don't really care about, you know, having a sub, having a main roster. We just want to have 2 viable options to switch out to if maybe one player's having a bad day. And I like to see that here from Omnius, for example. They've switched out Lux on their team and picked up Frencha into that lineup here. So we'll see if that's going to bring them any better fortunes, or if it is just going to be the Cosmico show once again. But I guess at this point, you know, you've just got to try something.
Yeah, I mean, you really just need to find something to go your way. We do see some physicality coming out here, but it is from that Cosmico side. We were saying we wanted to see it from Omni as well. It hasn't really found its way to the front just yet here. It's going to be some good defense, though, able to hold out on this pressure that's been building here for quite a bit.
Yeah, it seems to have done just that. 3 minutes still left on the clock here, and Omnius, I mean, they've still got very much chances to put together some plays, put together some goals, but they've got to get out of this defensive block, this defensive hold that they've been put on. That's a shot you shouldn't be missing there, but Cosmico, they're still going to have that 1-goal cushion. Will 1 goal be enough? I mean, it has been so far for this series, but we'll see if Omnius are going to be able to punish that mistake.
Yeah, but I mean, it does seem very rare and few that we're seeing Omnius here on this purple side of the pitch. We do get one of those looks here now. It's going to be kept in here by Eddie. Eddie, can you get us back in front of net? Can we get some dangerous looks here for Omnius? Or is this going to be Berserker who clears out the issue time and time again? Cat Lover up here for this one. Going for a touch off of the sidewall. Does connect, but nobody from Cosmico willing to follow up.
Yeah, no one quite able to, no one willing to. And on the side of Cosmico, everyone just wants to throw the kitchen sink, as aggression has been the name of the game for them. Brought them success, and well, game number 3 certainly continuing, and they might only have 1 goal to show for it instead of 5 that they were able to put up last game, but the win's still the win. They'll take it either way, and well, they still have very much control of this game, but 1 mistake is all it takes, right? And Omnius is straight back in the game, so you've got to look to be punishing those mistakes if you're Omnius.
Yeah, and for Omnius, it really is just a matter of, you know, we're getting these looks, we're getting the opportunities as an open net. You need to capitalize on this one. Pixel glitch shot's just going to go a little bit too wide. It's an awkward way to turn around for that ball, so it's understandable, but you hate to see that one go to the wayward side. Omnius, though, getting some more pressure, getting some more shots. This one's a slow roller, doesn't put real threat, and Cosmico just find a way out once again.
They do just that. 35 seconds still left on this clock, and well, Omnius, they need something, they need anything, but they're just getting given nothing time and time again. Will be flicked over towards Cat Lover, but Cat Lover gonna have that one sent to the sidewall. 20 seconds left. You need to be sort of quick to those challenges, quick to these balls, taking advantage of these opportunities. Omnius looking like they might have some fire in their belly in the final few seconds, but is that going to be enough? Midfield, whiff comes through, but it will be saved away. And I mean, is that just it? Is it just going to be the death of this game number 3? It looks like it. And it will just hit the ground. 3-0 here in the series.
Oh, and it's got to be heartbreaking for Omnius. You were so close on so many of those looks there. I mean, we're getting 4 shots here on your side. I believe that's a significant jump to have that game number 2 win, but Cosmico just take it away. And we see that lone goal sitting over there on Cat Lover, the substitute for Cosmico as well. And, you know, that's kind of something that I wonder is, you know, you see that Omnius is making a sub. Well, why don't we throw a sub into the mix? Because you don't really get that full team to digest anymore. You know, the first 2 games you kind of see, okay, this is how they're playing. Well, you throw in another mix to that equation, it throws things off. But Cosmico, one thing that wasn't thrown off is their dominance. They win yet another game here. Still only have dropped 1 game the entirety of RSC season 4, and we are on week 4. So it's a very impressive narrative that they've created.
And what's also really impressive is that Cosmico haven't actually conceded a goal yet this series, so they're looking for a perfect sweep. Omnius, they're just looking to see if they can get this game win on the board, Borky, and see if they can maybe add to their win ratio a little bit here. But I mean, it certainly has been a tall task here for Omnius, and they have, unfortunately for them, not risen to the occasion. They might have one more crack at doing just that, and they will here. Let's load into game number 4. Let's see if that is going to be the case.
Well, perfect sweep now looming in the balance here for Cosmico Omnius. It's been 15 minutes. You haven't found anything on the board yet. I mean, but you just have to take it game at a time. But it's so hard to do that
Goal
when...
at a time.
Yeah, I mean, in the opening seconds, it's just Berserker from his own side of the field throwing an absolute haymaker at your net. And of course, you're getting demoed off the pitch as well. It doesn't really help your case.
Yeah, I mean, normally, like you say, it does feel like game by game, take game at a time, but it has very much felt like goal at a time here for the side of Omnius. But let's see if they're going to find any better fortunes here. That's an open net. That's the goal. That is the shot that they needed here if you're Omnius.
Perfect sweep denied. It takes the sub and Frencha who gets that one in, but it's a very lovely pass to connect there. Omnius, though, we like to see this. Some life here. We get finally a 1 on the column there on the right side of the screen. Let's keep that up. Let's see what they can develop with that momentum there.
Well, let's find out. 4 minutes still left of this game. And a tied situation we find ourselves in. Is that found? Is it in the back of the net? It's Pixel Glitch to fire the bullet, hit the mark, and give Omnius their first lead of the series.
Singing the praises for Pixel Glitch. We were wondering when they would finally connect. Well, Frencha open up the floodgates. There's 2 here for Omnius. Is Cosmico just, letting their foot off the brake here? Or is Omnius just coming to life a little bit too late? We'll have to see as things continue to play out. It's going to be Bruv here. Gets a quick challenge. It just falls into the lap of Eddie, who takes us over here off of the sidewall. Doesn't connect, though, so Berserker flipping possession. Pixel Glitch has to go quick. Does get a very crucial 50. Already hot on the trail behind this ball. It's up here in the midfield, but backboard cleared away.
Yeah, cleared away. Lead held here by Omnius. Are they going to be able to hand Cosmico their second individual game loss of the season? Or are Cosmico going to look to fight back? Bruv certainly is. He's got that touch over the first man. And, well, through the corner it goes. Cosmico look to set up their attack. They'll be kept away here by Eddie. Right back in here is Bruv. And the midfield has been such a sort of talking point here for this game so far between these 2 teams, but the slot needs to be found. It's not. It's taken away. Is it just down the other end? Is it just in the back of the net? Yes, it is. Omnius adding another goal to their lead.
Oh, and it's that shot from Berserker there that goes off of the top of the crossbar and all the way down the other side of the field, and nobody from Cosmico, I think, was anticipating that one. And out of all of the series, who would have thought it might have been this one where Omnius are going to hand Cosmico their second loss? They have really stepped up to the occasion here. You might have lost this series, but every win matters, and it could be the difference of making it into the playoffs or not. So for Omnius, you have to appreciate the battle they put up to the very bitter edge here. This one's in front of net. Nobody to connect, though. Back pass, trying to find its way towards Eddie. Cat Lover. Big 50 there. Pushes us here into dangerous territory for Omnius, but they managed to survive.
They do. 2.5 minutes still remain, and Cosmico 2 goals needed to tie this one up. It will be sent downfield. Bruv going to have some time to work with here. That time going to be closed down, but it might not matter. He beats 2 players. That second man nowhere to be seen, though. Cosmico, I feel like, rotating a little bit too far back at times and allowing their opponents to seize possession. But now, speaking of possession, it will be Omnius who look to set up their play. A little bit of an early pre-jump, but the goal still finds its way into the back of the net. Pixel Glitch gets past every single defender.
And what is happening here for Cosmico? It's an absolute collapse on the goal line. And Omnius, 4 goals in this game. They went 3 games of outscoring. Where was this earlier? We have to ask and wonder. But I am very much welcoming it, as here comes another pass opportunity. Berserker trying to just fire off from their own side of the pitch again. It's going to be another follow-up, but a huge save there from Eddie. Keeps that lead intact.
Does indeed. Bruv going to be challenging this one. Omnius to the sidewall. Cosmico just looking to put together those team plays, and they might just be able to do that. Great 50 there from Bruv to set up Cat Lover for this touch, but the read is there. Omnius making the mark and, well, hitting the shot, but not quite able to hit it in the back of the net and get themselves that second goal. This is setting up for the victory here for Omnius, but will they be able to take it and walk away with it?
Well, that is the real question here, because Cosmico, we know how deadly this pressure can be once it starts to cultivate, and right now they're doing a good job of establishing it, but this big breakout here does open up that valve a little bit. It's going to allow Eddie an opportunity. Goes for the double, does connect, but it is 50 with Berserker. Reset, Pixel Glitch here up high, trying to drop this down low. Bruv, good big boom downfield. It's an open net. Can anybody from Cosmico put it in? Somebody, no, it's saved away from Pixel Glitch.
Yeah, it's taking their time, but you've got no time to take. 20 seconds left on the clock. Great setup. He touches it and saves it himself. You think you've got to leave that for a teammate, but no. 15 seconds still remaining, and Omnius gonna hand Cosmico their second individual game loss of the season. It's a 3-1, and what was looking to be a perfect sweep now has fizzled out, and well, Omnius making the best of a bad situation. 5-1 here, Borky, in game number 4. And like you said, you've got to wonder, where was this earlier on? But it doesn't matter. They're going to add to that game percentage, I guess, win rate. And, well, Omnius just walking away with what they can get.
Well, one thing's for sure is Omnius definitely making up for some of those goal differential stats here for this series. 5 here to their name. Ball does need to touch the ground here for things to be all said and done. We will just get a bit more play here after the fact. Finally, though, in midfield, resting point, ball is set down. Omnius, out of nowhere, surprising us all, take game number 4. But Cosmico win the series 3-1.
Yeah, letting them walk away with this series 3-1. But I mean, a great comeback, a great performance, and we looked towards those key pieces of the puzzle. Pixel Glitch stepping up there and really sort of making his mark and getting a couple of demos on the board there as well. Really opening up some space for his teammates to thrive, but also him thrive as well in that final game. But a brilliant series played there from Cosmico, and an especially great first 3 games to keep their perfect streak of game wins, 4 game wins now, alive. So you've got to love to see it from that side of things. But I mean, in general, Borky, across that series, it felt like Cosmico, they just showed why they are top of their division, why they are number one, excuse me, in the prospect tier. And all they needed was a 2-2 draw to guarantee it. But now they have well and truly put themselves a postage stamp on that number 1 spot. But we've got to welcome Greybeard back in here once again, Borky. That's our cast done for the night. But Greybeard, I mean, you're only just getting started here. So what did you think of that one?
I just want to know where was Game 4 Omnius in games 1, 2, and 3? That was amazing, and I was I just wish they hadn't left it that late, because they're making things tough for themselves. They're sort of languishing in the lower half of the table, and a Game 4 performance in the other games could have seen them take a step or 2 up. But having said that, though, this Cosmico team looking really good, and it's great to see Bruv at the forefront of things, hammering away. So yeah, very well played to them. And your player of the series, if you have one, Hodge.
Oh, I think if I'm going to look for a player of the series, for me, it would have to be Bruv. I feel like, you look towards Berserkers and sort of the shots he was putting in, but those opportunities have got to come from somewhere. Those chances have got to come from somewhere. And Bruv was, playing that first man position so well. The AGM of Cosmico, really making his mark in that series, playing those 50s, creating those passing opportunities, and well, making the mark. I guess making it known that Cosmico were hitting the mark in the back of the net every single time there that they were asked for.
So this is turning into a proper tussle at the top of the table between Cosmico and Death Cloud. Borky, we're nearly halfway through. Do you want to make a brave early call and which of these finish top, or do they get overtaken by Monarch or Azura?
Ooh, well, I mean, it is hard to call. I mean, I believe that.
Of course it's hard. That's why I'm asking you, Borky.
Well,
Are we just sticking to easy questions here?
I believe that Mist is a very good front runner here in Prospect, but with the way that Cosmico played, and even with a substitute in those last two games, they still just look so cohesive. And I feel like Rocket League's a team game, and when you have all of those pieces working together so well, I'll throw in the brave prediction that Cosmico is going to win the Prospect.
Oh, Space Crisp just died a little bit inside as you said that. All right, well, gentlemen, those are two great series that you presided over. Thank you very much, Borky. Thank you very much, Hodge. Your work for the night is done. We will release you into the wild until the next time. Thank you, guys. And there we have it. And we're halfway through the Week 4 RSC Season 4 stream. As Hodge pointed out, all the fours on the go tonight. And we're going to be turning our attention back to Rival in just a moment. Well, there you have it. Omnius will be featured again, and Death Cloud Esport again. And it's a tier where Death Cloud are struggling. They are doing so well in all the other tiers, but their rivals have to come to the party. We'll talk about that in a moment. And a reminder that our prize pool is dynamic. It goes up every time we get ourselves a box of Slayer GG's Gamer Serum. Currently, the prize pool is 17,100 Rand. And we have a very real possibility of getting that up to 20 grand. So make sure you're getting involved. Make sure you're getting your Slayer. And of course, to mention as well, our other sponsors making this all possible. Genisus Extreme on the broadcast, Nearstream getting involved with some equipment and stuff and all of that good thing. So shout out once again to all of our sponsors making RSC Season 4 possible. And that is going to bring us to our last two series of the night. We've said goodbye to Borky and to Hodge, but now we say hello to Sir. Okay, we're gonna be having Sir Pegasus and Muzz, who will be with us very shortly, and they will bring us the last two series. And after tonight, we're pretty much at the halfway stage. Week 5. By the end of week 5, we will be bang on halfway through the RSC Season 4 series. But after week 6, we will be in Stellenbosch for the LAN. And make sure you sign up to either come as a player, or sign up and play, or come be in the crowd, come and support. Just be there. It is going to be probably the biggest Rocket League get together South Africa has ever seen. Now, let's move on to our last two series of the night. And to bring those to us, we have Sir Pegasus and Muzz. Sir Pegasus, I see you still rocking the Tanzania flag there. Can we see, or should we expect you to be signing up for the FIFA qualifiers for Tanzania?
It would be too rough on the rest of the competition. I come from a privileged spot, being able to live in England, and by that I mean I can't find my papers, and I think it's impossible for me to do so. So unfortunately, I won't be competing for Tanzania. But if they need a team stream, they know who to call.
Stick to your strengths, and then the Muzzler. How's it, Muzzy?
Hey, Mr. Big Greybeard, what's happening? How you doing?
How you doing? No, I'm doing pretty good. Rival tier, we got Death Cloud and Sir Pegasus Muzz. We were talking about this in the green room. Death Cloud having a rocking time everywhere. But Sir Pegasus, what is going on? Why are they struggling here in Rival at 9th on the table as it stands right now?
I honestly could not explain to you how this has been allowed to happen. Death Cloud are a fantastic organization that stretches across regions now. They're successful in EU. They've been successful in SSA. And when you ramp up the purple gift, I guess you could say, it's not really a curse for people in this SSA season. I don't know what's happened here in Rival. They're currently sitting in 9th spot with 5 wins. But if you actually look at the rest of the table, that top spot was sitting at 8 by the end of the last week. So I guess you could say that Rival, it just might be the tier to watch. It's really close all the way throughout. They've got a win, draw, and a loss. It's a pretty rickety record, I guess you could say. But if you want to stable that ship, what better place to do it than on stream?
And then and something of a reversal of the prospect table. Muzz, Omnius, who are struggling in the lower half in prospect, sitting in 3rd place in Rival. So they're struggling there, but doing much better here.
Yeah, Forge having a great time here. I mean, like you said, they're top 3, and they keep forging on their Greybeard, so they're doing well. Maybe it's Sam is, sending them the secret cheat sheets. Who knows?
All right, gentlemen. Well, I'm going to hand over to you to take us through the series. So to bring us, Omnius Forge up against Death Cloud Shock. Take it away, gents.
Forge had their successes week 1 on stream. They've got that experience, and if any of these players are going to show up for LAN as well, as was announced by Greybeard beforehand, I feel like on stream, of course, it's not the same as being in that environment, but it's still a little bit of added pressure that Forge have proven that they can find success in. So that's just, I feel like, even more of a mountain to climb here for Death Cloud, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole franchise, Pegasus, are doing great, and this Rival team, they're having a hard time. And so they came off a loss last week, but so did Forge, who came off a loss last week to Celestial. And so, yeah, big wins for either of these teams. We cannot draw. I don't want to see 2 apiece here in the series score. We need an outright victory from one of these teams.
It's what's so unique about the RSC system, the fact that you can have those draws in the first place. I must say, last week, we did have our fair share of them, but they were rather exciting. They went the full distance, a lot of overtimes mixed in. So if we are going to get a draw, I want it to be some kind of reverse sweep. I want it to be close back and forth action. I don't like the ones where one team wins 6-0, then the next game they just decide to flip the colors for the fun of it. I want high level Rocket League here. This is the Rival tier. It is the second lowest that RSC SSA has to offer. But I feel like it's a bit of that awkward middle ground, Buzz, where of course we can see some of the slip ups that we may have seen in the last series on the broadcast, but also you could just see clip of the week out of nowhere if the players decide to bring it out.
Yeah, I think here between the prospect and the Rival tier, you do have kind of every just flash in a pan where someone comes in and gets a clip, as you mentioned. And, you know, we've got Big Willy Philly coming onto the field now, Pegasus, and maybe he's the one that's going to give us that clip. But yeah, must win for both these teams, Forge and Shock. They do need it. Big names here on these rosters, Rival tier, it's no joke. We get into that upper echelon of our RSC kind of quote-unquote bubble scene. And so, yeah, very keen to see how this is going to go down.
And Rival is one of those big developmental tiers as well, where players can really start to establish a name for themselves. RSC, I don't believe, is looking to go anywhere. So in fact, next season, you might find some of these players in the higher tiers. They've got to be impressing the management. We were talking a little bit off stream how when it comes to the master tier,
we basically know all the players there, and the players all know each other. They're going to play together. It's not the same when you get a little bit lower in the tables. You have to establish yourself first, and when you have this on-stream opportunity to get casted by the legendary Mars as well, this is your moment to impress. This is where you've got to show up, get some scores of the doors, and if you're DeathCloud, that could just save your season.
Yeah, I mean, it's all fun and games, right? I know we're waiting for one Omnius player to get connected here, so that's going to be great. On the other side there, the Shock rival team, I think we all know those names. Joshi, CPT, Sora, Rakil. I don't know, are you expecting anything there, Sir Pegasus? We've got a one reunion player there in Sora, who usually comes out absolutely rearing to go.
I mean, it's reunion. Any place where they speak a little bit of French, it's guaranteed that that gives them just that extra injection of Rocket League power. So we'll see if that shows itself up on the pitch. What I find really interesting about this roster, and I always like as a former manager over in EU, is how their CMV dynamics has gone about here. No 1,500 players, with 1,505 being the cap, of course, in this tier. 1,495 just about reached there by Joshi. And then you have another 1,400, which means you have to dip at the lower end of the tier for your final two players, and that's where players like Rakil really have to prove that they are worth more than their CMV, because ultimately that is your target when you are a manager. You want players that are getting all the sandbag allegations by the end of the season, and so far, unfortunately, that hasn't quite gone in their favor, but maybe this is where the lessons start to really set themselves in.
So now taking that whole CMV story, right, and then pitching it to Forge, right? They've gone straight for a 1,500 in Big Willy Philly, and then 1,495 in 40 Meat. And so, but then they had to jump straight down to 1,300 after that, right? So it's a big different story.
Well, the last series I casted on RSC, RSC SSA, I believe it was the lowest CMV cap team that won. So it's all about the chemistry. It's about proving yourself on the big stage. So, ladies and gentlemen, your third out of fourth series of the day. We've got kickoff here in a rival tier.
Oh, and it's going to be 4 games standard here. So Pegasus is going to be a big one. And look at the ball. That is absolutely glorious. Shot be taken there. And DeathCloud almost on the map.
Already looking to get themselves established early. There's going to be a lot of eyes towards this DeathCloud roster to try and turn around their performances in this tier to echo that we've seen from this organization. Quite frankly, every single other one. Shot comes through here from Omnius, that 50-50 vote. Not quite finding the target. They are reduced back to their own defenses, having to start from square one. That first player's beat, the 2v1 isn't quite enough, and it's that establishing stage of the series in this first minute where they're both kind of feeling each other out. You're not going to see anyone go for anything too crazy or forward footing. That being said, that double commit might just throw it right out the window.
As you said, the 0-0 scoreboard has just the pendulum swinging and no one trying to take the lead just yet. Yeah, we can get that draw, as you mentioned as well, which is the beautiful part of the RSC, both in EU and in SSA. And not too many shots coming out from players either here. We've got Sora, who's got 0-0 across the board. And as you said, if you speak a little bit of French and you can say oui, and baguette, then you do bring extra flair onto the pitch. They're nice little touch there coming out from Sora. And we do want to see what can the Forge outfit do. He has well bump there coming down, and so maybe there was going to be a second man from Forge able to continue their play around the bend, but you know, the bumps do, they're great.
The full South African roster will take the front foot. Omnius have taken a bit more possession ever since the first minute was very much against them, but one counter-attack from DeathCloud had the opportunity to make the difference, and it just shows why those first touches are so vital. That players ran away from Sora, but they've kept that forward pressure, about halfway line, defended as if it were their net. That long ball forward, though, may see some more space for Omnius. Are these the highlights we were looking for? Not quite. Resets back in the midfield. DeathCloud looking to pick up possession.
Yeah, great challenge there from Cornflakes as well. Doesn't want to let any Forge player just punt the ball forward there. So Cornflakes with that active defense doing incredibly well from the Shock team, because they need a desperate win out of tonight as well. Shot coming out from Sora. There needs to be a second man coming in. It's going to be a pixel shy there. So Pegasus and Shock, just when they could open up the lead tonight, it goes wide.
And ball out yet again for Joshi, waiting outside back corners as well to time his hits, but you don't want to commit too highly into those corners, especially if it's going to fall right on your lap. It's going to be all these small decisions that make the difference between a rival and an elite player. These are all players very capable mechanically. We've seen all of that so far, that decision making, and I find especially with that third man that can change the course of a series.
Shot coming out. Oh, that's also going to be wide there as well. So just, you know, hopes and dreams right now at the moment. I know dunk coming out there from Sora as well. And we're going to see Forge on the counter-attack. The get past Joshi. Luna's up in the air as well. It's going to show off a bit of that aerial prowess. Nice little ground pinch there, but nothing sticking. And that also goes a pixel shy to the right. Apparently fallen. So I don't know. We're not going to get big Willy Philly this time. Is maybe the manager's telling him to change his name. That's okay. We know his origin story. Getting past Josh, Luna doing well, fighting a good fight. There has to play it out to a second man there, but Sora is going to clear this one. He's going to get it up into there. Can he get it over one? He can. Can he get it up into the second man? He cannot, though. He's not going to be able to get the ball off to a teammate as well. So Pegasus, we are still 0-0.
It's a lot of these heavy clearances out from Omnius, and that's allowed Deathcloud to just sweep up all of these balls with a fair bit of space in front of him, or even boom it right back with players already high up the pitch, and it's made it really tough for our green side to try and escape that half, albeit you just have to be efficient. You've got to take those chances when they come. That first one doesn't come through. Sora again is in this little pocket in the top left of the pitch, touch too heavy, forced to try and find the pass, but that never came. Both teams with a crucial opportunity lost.
It has just been a story of these heavy touches. And finally back of the net. There goes Omnius Forge through Luna. A nice little open touch, and Joshi, oh man, look at that.
Wow.
Little, interception play, as you could say.
It was a nice little pickpocket there in the middle of the pitch. Saw those two players caught out high, and even if that 50 did not go in his favor, if there was a follow-up available on the side of Omnius, even still, that would be a free net. A little bit of a misplacement from the Deathcloud man. Same can be said about that shot as well. So Omnius will be chasing for escape in the last 30 seconds to prevent a potential overtime. The majority of this game has pointed in that direction. And Sora's high ball might bring it back to that spot. That's a quick interception. A man stays close as well to keep this ball wide and siphoned to the corners. It's that central space that can be dangerous, but unfortunately, it's the team desperate for a goal that find themselves in that spot. It's a ball back for Deathcloud. The ground is heating up, but lava is hit. Forge will take game one.
And you know, we kind of spoke a little bit there in the green room in the pre-show that, you know, Shock are having a difficult time here. So Pegasus, and there we go. Game number one going to Omnius Forge. It is only the one goal, of course, scored through Luna's nice interception. But yeah, if you're a Shock team and Shock manager, you do not like what you're seeing here. Joshi only just breaking 100.
But they had the shots. They had equal to that of Omnius, but there were just a few wasted opportunities, especially in the second half of that game for Deathcloud, where it felt like they had perhaps the first minute and the last minute and a half with Omnius somehow being able to squeak one through all the chaos. And it's that efficiency, which was actually the topic of conversation in last week's broadcast for RSC SSA, that constantly keeps niggling itself back into the fight, especially in that rival tier, where players very much do have the ability. It's just that little bit of consistency and that bravery in front of nets as well that was lacking there for me from Deathcloud, and frankly, from the opposing team as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned all the in the game, all the heavy touches as well. We saw a lot of the ball going to the right,
oh,
of the
yeah,
post, left of the post, a couple of pixels shy. So Pegasus, and yeah, we need a lot of more accuracy and control when it comes to the shots, right? Maybe easier shots, right? Get the floor touch. Maybe don't have to look for the doubles. No fancy kind of flip resets. Let's just try to get the ball into the back of the net, right? And yeah, heavy touches on both ends. Yeah, and we only saw the one goal coming to Forge because it was the intercepted play. And so here we go. Game number 2. Things going to get better for the team in purple.
You've got to be able to keep your cool even when you're a game down. You've got to be able to pick up those mistakes and solve them quick. Otherwise, you are going to be looking at a draw as your best result. Omnius already forced their defenses. Deathcloud look to get themselves quick out the gates, back in the action, trying to cause a shot. That's a lovely drop down pass, unable to be reached, but a third man doesn't quite get the touch. Cornflakes has had to take it to the corner. And it's a very quick interception coming through from Omnius. And I fear already, Muzz, this is very much looking like some Game 1 action.
Yeah, you know, we saw that Forge were very quick on this active defense. We saw Luna being able to kind of intercept those plays and get, you know, the counters going out well. So, you know, they read in, you know, Shock like a cheap novel, right? Even if you win them by 1, it's a win nonetheless. And so they're ready to understand how ball needs to be played. Cornflakes, though, maybe can get past one. Nice little early demo and bump they're coming up from Josh, though. Didn't work out that time into Forge, and not to be tricked. But at least the attention's coming out there. Can we see Cornflakes get the dunk? Nothing's going to happen. Josh should have follow up as well. The double commit here coming up from Forge. A slow play here by Sora. Oh, nothing's going to stick though as well. Back to Cornflakes. Can he get the dunk? He's going to look for the double. Won't be where he needs it to be. It's a play down to Josh here though. That's an awkward one. Maybe the quick counter coming up from Forge is going to be advantageous though, but nothing happens.
They're allowing them so much space just outside that 6-yard box. That was 3 players goal lining Kumbaya. Someone just had to stick a wheel in, and the one time it happened, that was on double commits from that defensive play. They need some coordination, otherwise Cornflakes is going to snap, crackle, and pop their way up the table.
I'm trying to think now, did we have Greybeard on the panel and we were talking about rival tier and we were saying like sometimes it's a flash in the pan, sometimes it's not, you know, and it's not kind of the best Rocket League, it's not the worst Rocket League, and we're always going to get surprised in SSA or Pegasus, and yeah, I think these 2 games at least have definitely been surprising.
It's one of those yet again, though. If it does reduce to a draw, if it keeps on staying this very high offensive Rocket League, sticking to the thirds and the end thirds instead of the central, this is one that you'd be happy to go to a 2-2 draw regardless, as long as you're here, as long as you're spectating and not missing out on any of the action. Real ones know. That's why you follow the stream, ladies and gentlemen. But it is not over yet for Omnia. Still 3 minutes to go. And I must say, in those first 2 minutes, Muds, they really haven't set any sights in that opposing half.
Yeah, nothing really been sticking too much right now. And we saw at least Shock have come with the early challenges. All Cornflakes looking for a little bit more. And he could have extended the lead there by 1 more for his team. And that didn't stick when he wanted to. So Forwards, they need to get out of the undefensive third. Josh is going to push it to his own corner here. I don't know if that's going to be the play he wants to, because Forge will be able to nab that one, but he doesn't. They're not able to, though, on Cornflakes. Good little save in the mid-line. Apparently full. Ooh, almost gets that down and gets the equalizer. Luna going up for this one, but he's going to get beaten up by Sora. The Frenchman gets up there, and now we see on that side of the wall, Joshy trying to fight out full low, but it gets past everyone. Sora maybe to get the dunk here, but that's also going to go wide. And so we do have Farty meet. Flick over, maybe. It's kind of always there and thereabouts, as Greybeard would say.
Yeah, it's just losing that final killer pass. It feels like they've got some of the foundations there, but they cannot finish their dinner. Omnius though, again, looking to try and reignite this attack. It's a quick burning flame once more. And Deathcloud get a favorable bounce off that corner. The bump comes through. It's ingenious play, but a save from Luna to prevent the double deficit. And at this point, you feel like 2 goals in the lead are exactly what Deathcloud would deserve. They might have just earned it. Joshy with the new titanium white nuke sends this game again into disarray.
And I think everyone's trying to beat Bromeo's demo record there as well. So nice little shot with smoke there, and Shock able to put a second here. You said it, so Pegasus, these teams would probably rather go for the draw. So this, of course, would tie up our series 1 apiece. Of course, we're shocked to get the win. Then Forge take a nice little gamble with that shot, though. And Joshy CBT wants to take up the right-hand flank here. Cornflakes, though, with a nice challenge and send them that over the halfway line. And Shock, yeah, they've definitely picked up their socks.
It's going to be back to the defenses from Omnius. Don't worry, your stream hasn't repeated. It's just same old gameplay here. Sora looking for that escape. They haven't done a fantastic job at sweeping it out of their box. They haven't been good at these off-the-ball options. They've gone for a lot of these 50s, gone for a lot of these dribbles, but there's never a second man close ready to follow. These clearances as well just come out to that third man of Omnius, and it's positions like this when you're Deathcloud, but you just feel trapped. Sora will take it off that back wall, and the first real opportunity for Cornflakes in that attack will be free for Deathcloud. And this is a really sore game from Omnius. We spoke about that efficiency that was missing from DC in game 1. They found it, and immediately we can see how that changes the dynamics.
Yeah, and just, shorten your proximity to the box, right? Sora's going to set you up and you're going to shoot, as close as the box as you can. And Cornflakes gets him to the back of the net. Then Sora looking not just for the assist today, but the shots himself. Makes 2 saves, gets a goal and an assist there. And so Death Cloud shocked. They're back in this series. They're back in this ball game here, Sir Pegasus.
That passy has been cooked there by Sora. Unlocked the key for the defense. And now in these final 30 seconds, it's just a victory lap for Death Cloud. And what do you do if you're Omnius off the back of this game? But it hasn't gone out your favor. That third game is always going to be that important swing to try and take control of this series. You guarantee yourself a draw with that third result. But it felt like those same old mistakes coming in from game 1 were finally punished here in the second. More control required. Having to keep their calm and read the plays better that Death Cloud are throwing against them. It's simply one team has stayed stagnant and one has picked up from their errors. Death Cloud are looking to climb their way back up the table.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, you can see right there, goals 1, 2, and 1 right assist there. Tons of shots coming out from the Death Cloud team there. So Pegasus, those numbers are huge compared to just the 2 sitting on the side of Forge, right? And so, yeah, Shock decided they're tired of this nonsense. They've taken a ton. They're catching strays here in the rival tier. They don't want to be a 41% win rate. They do need this win. Of course, Omnius having lost to Celestial last week as well. And if you play game 2, or if game 3 and 4 go like this one did, it's not going to look good for outside in green.
I mean, despite Forge sitting at 3rd place and Shock in 9th before this series began, the difference between these two teams, well, only 1 game win. That just goes to show you how close the rival tier has been. Yeah. With a similar record there of the win, loss, and draw, there would have just been a sweeper against or to the favor of one of those teams to make that difference. Maybe we should have given this series a bit more credit, that it could be a closer affair. Death Cloud can wake up at any time and feel the energy of the rest of the organization, that badge seemingly carrying themselves forward. Because come the end of game 3, game 4, this table is going to be very much reshuffled. And who knows, Death Cloud could be in a top 3 spot. That's how seriously tight this conference truly is.
Yeah, and I mean, it all contributes to the overall franchise leaderboard as well, which of course Death Cloud is sitting comfortable at the top there, and apparently Dr. Phil does the business.
That's a momentum builder. That's how you want to dust yourself off after a 4-0 victory. Forget about it. Scream in the comms. Raise your boys up. 5 seconds of that next game. I said this is the game you have to take control. Omnius looked to do that in the first 5 seconds. Of course, they cannot afford to soak up all the pressure they did before in game 2. But that was them turning over a new leaf. It's a new chapter for the Omnius side. A team was able to step up in game 2. Now it's Death Cloud's turn to respond to this higher gear.
Yeah, and there we go. Luna into the back of the net here as well. So Pegasus, so definitely things are looking really great for the Forge team as well. Josh, you just cannot get rid of that ball. Luna comes in, pops it into the bottom right-hand corner. All within this first 1 minute of regulation. And we don't want to count our chickens before they've hatched. So Pegasus, we know these games can swing incredibly quickly in a game of Rocket League when there's just 5 minutes on the line here. But Forge bringing it back. They really need to. Cornflakes is going to send that one. Josh, maybe to clear it up. Brings it down for Sora. Oh, it's a goodie.
That's how you use your teammates. We spoke about CMV beforehand, but chemistry is what will carry you for a season. That is a beautiful assist down there to Sora. Just had to reach the target with a bit of power, and 102 kph will certainly do the job. You spoke about not counting your chickens before they hatch. Death Cloud, the foxes are here to ruin the day for all the hens over at Omnius.
Oh, yeah, they are. And Joshy, okay, that's fine. It's going to go a little bit wide, but the pressure's there. That's all you need to do, right? Put the balls down onto the green side of this field. Yeah, and Joshy, again, fights it on the midway line, wants to get it over there as well. And so the ball's going forward there. Nice little touch.
Wow.
Okay, almost the third man able to squeak it in. Sora can't get that shot done as well. You see so many opportunities being created here by Death Cloud that, this kind of 2-1 is not going to last too long.
Is this the same series? Both teams are playing completely different, utilizing their teammates, so much better. That was an opportunity for Omnius to make it free with that gorgeous drop-down pass. I'll go for another one here off the ceiling. One touch will be enough. Wasn't quite communicated well enough with a teammate. Luna's beaten as well by apparently Dr. Phil. There are these small instances where it feels like they're almost there. One mistake comes through, and that was the story of them in that last game, not able to find that killer pass, and they've been somewhat half-baked. But with the first minute of this game, the improvements we've seen so far is leading up to a really big finish for the remainder of Game 3, and Lord forbid, whatever we could see in that fourth as well.
Yeah, I think none of these kind of 6 players on the field want to get that tie. They don't want to get the draw here at all. No one wants to get minimum points here out of tonight as well when you work so hard. Sora is just going to hold on to that one. He's going to fake out one. Can he fake out two, though? Bit of a pinch off the roof of his opponent. Doesn't get past the third, and almost a great opportunity there for the Death Cloud team. And, you know, Omnius really sweating to get rid of that one. Apparently, Phil's going to drop it down. Maybe this is going to be a gorgeous shot, though. Almost lands. And, oh, man, the defense that came out there. Whew, it was decent, but apparently Phil, he almost did the business, and they're still on the attack here. Forge really trying to, you know, put the hammer down onto the anvil, and now Sora has to get rid of that one. Does find Cornflakes that can run it up his left-hand flank. Oh, nice little demo come out there as well. Joshy maybe he's gonna be able to poke it over. Can he do so? Does have a player bumping, and oh man, apparently Phil gets up, he gets a glove to it.
Sora staying close. They're not giving up with this attack quite yet, but Dr. Phil again on the goal line. Holds off at 50. That's a lovely sidewall as well from Luna to keep this play progressing. The second and third man of Omnius were set well deep, but apparently Dr. Phil's pass, a little bit too heavy for the teammate, and that's what's somewhat petered it out. They've had to ramp back up that speed. That on-target shot, though, saved again by Death Cloud. The defenses have locked off. That's another immense save there off the goal line by Death Cloud. So many instances where Omnius have wanted to secure the dagger in the back of Death Cloud, and they've just not let it happen.
I think we've missed like 2 goals, 3 goals. You know, is the whole of chat kind of sitting on the edge of their seats and the edge of their lounge couches? You know, how's it working, guys? There's so many goals could have happened right now on both ends of the pitch, and just nothing stuck there. But man, oh man, it's been great Rocket League. Last minute of regulation here in Game 3. What are we going to see coming out here? Forge, 1 goal difference. They need to hold on to, right? But it's a tough one. Cornflakes trying to push this ball forward here for his team. Sora's going to grab onto it. He goes into the air. Can he bring it down? He cannot. Oh man, the Forge team, they're doing so well on defense here. Pegasus, they're keeping it out. Cornflakes is going to have another crack at it as well. Joshy trying to get that redirect out, but it's not going to happen. And oh man, the Forge team, they're keeping them out. They're keeping them at bay though. Bit of an awkward one there for Sora. Doesn't put it back into his own corner. Now big man Dr. Phil wants to try and find a second man. He's not going to be able to do so. Cornflakes is going to bring it round. Maybe someone's there. Maybe a second and third man are able to jump on this ball and pass the opportunity. There it is.
Gorgeous from Joshy, cold as ice with 30 seconds left on the clock. And in that third game, this is what you need to make an impact. Stamp yourself into this series. And it's plays like that from Joshy which keep Death Cloud alive. And the shoulders of the entire org are on his back, though Omnius have not given up in regulation. OT has not quite yet been achieved. It must be earned by both of these sides. It's been a game where defense has made the entire difference. Sora back out to Cornflakes. That ball doesn't break through. Omnius are playing it safe, but Joshy's not a player you want in possession, especially with Sora available. But it's a rare missed opportunities in the team play. Overtime reaches our screens to control the remainder of this series. Next goal wins.
Right, so that beautiful golden goal territory here, and you talk about all the saves, right? Look at Josh, he's got 2 saves, Luna's got the 3 saves here, Sora with the 1-5 shots there as well, right? Sora leading from the front, you're trying to make sure Death Cloud get into the back of that net, and so it really has been Game 3, game of defense, and maybe not 5D chess on the field, but damn good Rocket League, and there from the back, Dr. Phil's going to punt it upfield here into the purple territory. Oh, almost there, and Joshy has to get rid of that one. Luna, those 3 saves, that little Guardian or Savior medal going his way. Sora is going to run it up. Field goal to field goal. Passes it off. Nice little Josh there as well. He actually wins that one. Can they bring it down? Maybe this is going to be the dagger, but it's not.
Ball back up the corner yet again, and it would be very wishful thinking to go for that one. Redirect comes through from Fatih Patty. The post will deny. But fourth defender gets itself involved in overtime. Zora takes it over with the flip preset. But another double commit from DeathCloud will lead them scrambling back. This is a huge opportunity for Omnius. They've had time to pick up their boost as well. They should be locked and loaded. But DeathCloud's recoveries are too quick, and Omnius couldn't create the play in time. Now it's their turn on the defense. Zora can't sneak through. It's a ball back into the corner here. This should be safe for the defensive team, but Omnia only has eyes for offense. Brings it back to that central space, and DeathCloud again immediately pounds on that loose ball.
Nice little interplay. Coming out there, and Forge sending it forward here. Dr. Full down for 40. Maybe there's going to be an opportunity here as well. Sorry, wants to get rid of that one. So the active defense, they're coming out from DeathCloud, doing well. Cornflakes are going to run it up there. Bit of a scuffle at the back here between the green team. Okay, maybe. Second touch, third. Can he find a man? He's not going to be able to as well. Everyone's getting in on that action.
Oh. High from Joshi. Drop down yet again for Omnius. There's space on this wall, but Zora didn't fancy himself for the chase. Thought that fake would work out. As a result, ball within his half. Big counter coming through. What a tough angle for Zora. Doesn't get on the end of it, and it was all meant forward for DeathCloud. Complications, both for their own defensive rotation, but also for the reading of the game for Omnius. So it's another neutral play. It's a gamble that DeathCloud continuously have gotten away with. There's so many moments where this game must have ended. Instead, we're approaching 3 minutes of added time.
Yeah, it's great to go into OT and have almost a whole extra game of regulation coming in here. So Pegasus, okay, there it is. All right, Luna sneaking in from that left-hand side, and just when you thought we were going to really go the distance, he decides he needs to cut this one short.
No, that is devastating for Zora. Just about couldn't tip that one over. But I've said it before, I'll say it again, Mars. In those kinds of games, you need a moment of mechanics or a moment of madness. And unfortunately, I feel like we saw the latter there at the end of OT.
So now for DeathCloud, of course, so Pegasus, we have to go for the draw, right? You have to force the draw. We have to go 2 apiece. We've seen DeathCloud in game number 2 have a stellar time. They really had a blast. 3 minutes of OT here, 3-2 on our scoreboards right now. Beautiful fixture. But of course, now we know that Shock has had a difficult time in rival tier. You mentioned kind of the very small margins are separating everyone here, but they have to force that draw.
It's one of those tough series where if you were to lose it 3-1, if there were a tier that you'd be happy to do that in, it would be rival should it stay this close. But if there was an opportunity that you would want to take, it would be here in week 4 where it does remain at that spot. I feel like this is going to be the week where things start to open up. Some more series start to go in the favor of more teams. Those draws start to run their course. And I feel like by the end of this week, early in week 5, we're going to be looking at this game with DeathCloud if they do go on to lose this game 4 and say, wow, what a missed opportunity. And frankly, if they draw this series as well, wow, what a missed opportunity. They had all of it and more in that last game to be able to take a game win.
Yeah. So here we go. Last game. We always play the standard 4 here in the RSC. That's the beautiful part of it. You guys got to put all your money on the table. Who's going to be winning this? Omnius Forge or DeathCloud Shock? Here we go. 5 minutes on the board.
Cornflakes back out to the corner. Again, we saw early scorings from DeathCloud, and you said don't count your chickens before they hatch. But like at times they certainly did so. Once Omnius were able to ramp themselves back up, that's when it became that tighter game. That's where you had to wait for those brief moments of madness, and DeathCloud did have me concerned with those double commits that they were throwing forward. I would say if there were a team to go on to lose in that overtime, it did look like it would be them, unless, like I said, it was going to be a moment of greatness. Now here in game 4, in that first minute, it's a bit more back to that neutral game. Hopefully those mistakes have been ironed out. It has been a game where you could see clear improvements from both sides. as they have progressed.
It's just been great Rocket League all around here. There we go. Our reunion player, Sora, is getting to get into the back of the net. Wants to force that draw here. So Pegasus comes out of the mid place. Really great to see. Beats out Dr. Phil. No one here back on D. Defensive rotations maybe a little bit slow for the Forge players. You can see Luna coming in there at the end of the clip. And yeah, Sora does it.
Sora is one of those players as well that so far in this series have had that bit of mechanical promise about them, finds themselves in the right places, goes for those offloading passes as well. That's the player you're looking for to try and make a difference, to try and secure this draw. Unfortunately, it was a player you looked at in net as well that just about couldn't tip this one over. So there's going to be a lot of eyes on him here. deathcloud will approach him as a bit of a target as well. I think you mentioned chess during that OT. I feel like it's a bit more of chess boxing. Sure, you see these moments where it does feel super tactical, but then the demos come out, you see those passing plays, you see those double commits, and it gets a little bit more dicey.
Yeah, well, the Russians and their chess boxing, you love to see it, right?
Love it.
Yeah, a lot of demos and physicality coming out this series as well. It's been great to see. We've seen the kind of puffs of smoke come out of people able to score through them. I think it was, game 2 and Luna could score through that cloud. It was great to see. Nice Joshua off the backboard there as well, so getting rid of that Forge threat that was coming out there. And, Omnius, very close. They can get the W. They can go 3-1, which would be great for this.
Oh.
Luna, there it is, pops it in, gets that top corner, and there we go, one apiece.
And it's Luna providing the shock against deathcloud. Gorgeous play off the ceiling. Keeps just the right amount of boost there for the follow-up touch as well. It's excellent play from the Omnius man, and it feels like a little bit of an echoing of what we saw before. deathcloud striking first, but Omnius counter-punching right back harder. That being said, that was deathcloud on the attack. Saves coming out yet again, and it's now apparently Dr. Phil who consistently, and he was as well on stream in week 1, just that man to lock it down in defense for Omnius. He gets them out of so much trouble. It wasn't him on that ball this time. That was Fatty Meat Patty. Dr. Phil's going to have to clear it into the corner instead. deathcloud with a bit of an early jump there from Sora. Had a bit more opportunity there to take some control, have a favorable look towards the ball, and maybe would have been able to find a teammate. It's all these small Unreal units that make the difference in a physics-based game. But ultimately, 1 goal apiece, still looking for that difference to be made. That was risky from Meat Patty.
Yeah, and I just kind of like the cheekiness coming up from Sora there as well. It's really camping far on the side of Forge, and he almost got that goal there as well, right? And then maybe that's kind of the high-risk plays, that you want to do in game 4 here when you really have to try force a victory. And so Sora's going to be camping, he's going to be waiting for you to make mistakes, and he's going to be able to clip on you quite quickly. And Joshi sending that one upfield, I think he stole the 100 out of the corner there as well. So nice kind of good boost tactics coming out there as well. Cornflakes trying to drive in that dagger home though, and nothing happening for him at the moment. Sora going for this one as well. Maybe he can get past everyone. Oh man, you spoke about the kind of mechanical flair that can come out of Sora.
I could feel it. I could sense it. It was a beast waiting to be unleashed, and he may have waited for game 4 for it to be shown, and a ceiling shot of the other team as well for him to pick up that little bit of inspiration. But it was the perfect time for it to crop out. Don't let all that trouble go to waste. They pull the trigger, Omnius. But still, a misfire from the front man. deathcloud survived to live again.
Yeah, very close. They're almost coming out, and no cigar for the Omnius team. And, they're sitting comfy right now. They can win this and they'll have a great series, but now are trailing by 1. Need to be able to do some damage here at the business end. Sora stop and then went out for Joshi. Joshi just, coming in there to help, and that's what you need teammates for, just to be able to clear that ball. And Farty fighting this one, coming it down. Sora again, blocking that play there, and just Forge really trying to get into the back of the net there, but nothing really happening for them. And Joshi from the heavens gets that dunk.
Where was this deathcloud before? They look locked in. All 3 players involved with that play. Dare I say, that might have just been one of the plays of the week, Mars. I love the cheeky little team play. All players perfectly positioned. Third man knew when to get himself involved. Those passes were laid off nicely. We're not trying to force away that shot too early. And when you play that percentage game, you can see it pay dividends with that lead they hold themselves with now. This is what was missing in the games beforehand. It's one of those that, even if they do go on to win and secure that draw, will leave this team begging for more.
And you said that Death Cloud could do well here. They could get the W, and they kind of maybe waking up a little too late, and they're gonna draw here. And, oh man, apparently Phil, they're coming in. I suppose 14 seconds remain. Maybe it's gonna be a little bit too late, unless we really get a gorgeous kickoff stretch here coming up from this team. Maybe some players have been watching DK play, and there is gonna be a kickoff. Who knows? But yeah, Omnius, you really need to do something quick.
This could be potential for one of the most vile caster curses we have seen all season. We were already singing the praises of Death Cloud, but there's 5 seconds left on the clock. It's in the Omnius half. This is just favoring Death Cloud, and 0 seconds for Joshi will be enough to collect his second goal of the game, and what has been an excellent performance from him throughout. Just a smidgen more consistency, and they would have that lovely green graphic in the league database.
And there it is. So Pegasus, they got the draw. They tied it up. They needed those points here going into the rest of the season, because it is a deep season. This, of course, been week 4 already. And there we go. Death Cloud Shock take the victory 4-2, and they tie up the series 2 apiece. They had a fantastic game 2, and I guess they had a fantastic game 4.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really impressed overall with how that game went. You had that conversation, didn't you, Muzz, before this series began? You said you did not want to draw. That was one thing you didn't want from that series. But after seeing the nature of it and how that game played out, we got to ask the question, are you satisfied with that third series?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think it's just a lot of back and forth, right? When you watch Prospect and Rival, these are the games you get, right? There's always going to be moments of excitement. You're going to have the Soras doing what they need to do, right? The Lunas coming out and playing great Rocket League. And, it's always going to be a hit and a miss, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like both teams will be begging for more. Both teams will be begging that this was a best-of-5 format, but this is what the RSC format forces out of you. You have to have that consistency. You've got to dominate a series if you want to grab yourself a win. And Greybeard, there was no domination in that series, really, was there?
It's a draw. So my question is, so Death Cloud Esports, they're sort of languishing close to the bottom there, and Omnius, they're in the top 3. So was it better for Death Cloud or worse for Omnius, if that makes sense? So is this good for? Oh my God, I'm trying to. Do you understand the question I'm asking, Muzz?
I get you.
Okay, thank you. Because it was very clear in my mind, and then my process of articulation fell apart completely. So I'll start with you, Muzz. Your thought. I mean, will Death Cloud be happy with that? Will Omnius be satisfied?
Death Cloud happy and Omnius not satisfied, and I think so. Pegasus, you understood that question as well. Do you feel the same as me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Omnius definitely will not be satisfied with that result. Just flat out, they're going to lose their top 3 spots. Is going to be my prediction by the end of the week here. And I'm a little bit stuck, if I'm honest with you, for Death Cloud, because at the end of the day, both of these teams were only 1 game win apart before this game begun. This was an opportunity for them to not only leapfrog that team, but establish a little bit of a gap in the table that hasn't been there the entire season. And when you see how that game actually ended up getting played, that probably should have been Death Clouds if they had a few less gambles, in the midfield there, kept their spacing a little bit better than they did in that game 4. They could have won that 3-1 pretty comfortably, in my opinion, and they would be looking at those top 3 spots. Instead, I feel like it's going to be a bit of mid-table mediocrity from them, because I assume it's not going to be all draws and some teams will slip behind them.
Yeah, despite the fact that Death Cloud is sort of down at the start of tonight, 9th place, I mean, those game wins are really, really close. There are 3 games separating the bottom of the table with the top of the table. So, so you have your fantasy scenarios. Death Cloud sweep tonight, and suddenly they're jumping up to 9 wins and quite possibly being certainly top 2, maybe top 3 there, and vice versa. So maybe for both teams it becomes a bit of a meh. We could have done better. All right. Well, that wraps up our our second rival game for the night, and brings us to the master tier. We go to the big boys for our final series of the night. Ox Gaming, the Wildebeest, up against Azura Gaming, and we were chatting about this matchup before being live on stream, and there were differing opinions about who is likely to take it and who might be washed, who's doing well. But gentlemen, I'm going to leave it to you to dissect it and throw yourselves into your predictions and thoughts about the outcome. So Azura Gaming, Ox Gaming, over to you, gents.
Love that. Just before Greybeard leaves, he drops the word washed. He adds a little bit of flame to the fire there and then immediately leaves for us to deal with that, Muzz. I'm quite appreciative of that, although I must say the player he was saying was washed, I disagree with. And I'm sure once we get into predictions, that'll be a little bit more outlined who that player, or at least which team, might include that player in the first place. But this is the Rumble in the Jungle. It's a Wildebeest versus Silverback. We spoke about it a little bit off stream, didn't we, Mars, about this being certainly the main event of the broadcast. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on these two teams.
Yeah, I mean, I also, hate the fact that Greybeard gets to throw you and I into the deep end, and then he just kind of gets to run back to the green room, right? And so, we did, right? We looked at the rosters. We see that Azura's got a fantastic team. Jerome, Devour, Teacher, right? And so I was kind of feeling that was quite a decent and strong team. And I think you guys were looking at Ox, right? And we were talking about Tweaks and Max and, kind of Serenity and how fantastic that Ox team was doing. And so I've got mixed feelings here because, of course, the Azura team, very well known. They play a lot. It's Jerome, it's Devour, it's Teacher. These guys are always there in the RLCS and they're always playing, right? And so on paper, you think, great, Azura, that's the team. But on the other end, right, you've also got now very accomplished players. You don't just make 1900 for nothing, right? And so Tweaks is an accomplished, I think, Namibian player. And so, Ox Gaming, there might be some things up the sleeve there.
Absolutely. And when you look at these two teams, the tale of the cards with how their season has gone so far, really close between them. It is 8 game wins for Wildebeest and only 7 for Silverback. And we know how much you love draws, Mars. It's actually 2 so far for the it's 2 so far, sorry, for the Silverback, with a 3-1 as well sprinkled in there to help climb their way up the table. Whereas it's been a bit more all or nothing, it must be said, for Wildebeest. 2 series wins in their favor, a series loss is well mixed in, albeit that was against Cosmico Supernova, who are proving themselves to be the cream of the crop of, well, the entirety of RSC. This is the master tier, and they sit in that second place spot. Yeah,
incredibly well. I mean, Supernova and Tempest, right, both sitting comfortably at the top, and so we need to see how these teams are going to do. And I mean, Supernova, as you said, took down Wildebeest 3-1 there, so Pegasus. But here we go. It's the master tier. This is the big leagues. How's it going to end?
What a way to end off today's action. Truly some of the highest level of gameplay that RSC SSA has to offer. 3rd versus 4th, top 3, of course, guaranteeing themselves that playoff spot with a potential second life as well. This is an important spot to gatekeep. Ox Gaming will be looking to do exactly that, but Azura have their own ideas. 1st shot safe, 2nd one comes through. Ox Gaming have locked themselves down. It's low boost all around. You have to remain resourceful. But what players are the best at doing that? Then the master tier, Devour can't sneak under. The follow comes through. Another save from Serenity, and Ox Gaming, despite being on the back foot, seemingly with all the control.
Yeah, doing incredibly well at the moment. They're almost early opener coming up. But Jerome moment brings it in for us, scores a great one.
Aye, that's not how you expect to concede the first. Really awkward there from Tweaks. Then Azura sneaked that first goal through. I mean, it felt like they were deserving of something in their favor on the scoreline. Not quite sure that was the fashion anyone here in the booth or in chat expected it to go down. Ox Gaming, though, have 4 minutes to try and claw themselves a goal back, and in the Master Tier, that's an absolute eternity for the defenses.
Because when everyone's good and everyone can shoot and everyone can save ball and the passes are clean, so Pegasus like this to Devour, almost, you know, you just end up with a cracker on your hands. And I saw a shot there coming out from Jerome, but again, a decent save there from Ox Game, and Devour looking for those interceptions here. High-level RLCS players come in here playing decent off-season Rocket League and ball, and this is what you want to see. So both big wins needed for AZG and Ox Game and alike.
And it is back to Tweaks. Flip reset, though. Connection on that follow-up touch doesn't quite come through. Jerome's beaten to that ball. Max will have to dribble just under. Jerome puts it high. All these not landing to the favor of either side. It's relatively neutral play, and that's just going to favor the team that holds that lead. It's more time off the clock. And Ox Gaming will feel that time dwindling. It's a long ball forward. It's awkward here for Jerome. He has a man on to beat. Well, that post, again, playing a factor in the gameplay. It doesn't matter if it's roll, it doesn't matter if it's master, it doesn't matter if it's prospect. That post and crossbar is inevitable.
Yeah, I spoke about that fourth man in the previous series here, and it seems to be coming back with a vengeance in the second series of the night, or at least I suppose the fourth series of the night. And nice catch by Teacher, going to get past one. He's not going to be able to beat out that defender of Ox. Ball's going to go high and long, and Jerome's going to be able to catch this one, brings it down. He's going to be able to get a pin shot, bit of a hard play to a second man. Find it though. Ox clears this one and need to be able to try bring it onto the scoreboard. They're close, and Teacher had to stretch out a hand and a wheel for that one. All the way downfield, it's going to be caught there, and Devour getting in onto that action, and you can see the hungriness coming out here from Azura. Ball slow play here by Max. He wants to just kind of hold on to the possession game, but cut out there by Teacher. That quick offense here coming in from Azura.
Ox are playing a really dangerous game. It's 3 players sitting extremely far back. It's giving Azura so much real estate in that central third. And that's what's allowed them to just pepper those shots forward. And if Azura get frustrated, sure, those counters can come, but they've been able to keep themselves calm. Nothing, though, will stop this counter-attack from Ox Gaming. It's a rare space in this final third. And they used all players to make sure they made the most of it. Max brings the game back. 90 seconds on the clock. There are some more twists in the tails waiting for us in the remainder of this series, in the remainder of this game. Max back on, off the kickoff. What a save from Teacher.
Almost Ox there making two, and we saw the double commit there coming out from Azura earlier. You know, everyone was on that near post. They're trying to stop Max, but couldn't do it. And Jerome get almost into the back of the net there as well, so almost getting that second. And you know, just a back and forth game here in the Master Tier. Things are looking incredibly great on this field. Serenity trying to get that down. It's not going to happen on Devour's watch, and he wants to get the pinch around the corner and slow play. This doesn't pick up the boost though. He's not able to nab that 100. Nice play there coming up from Jerome. Goes all the way around the bend though. A little too much though for Teacher. Maybe overcooked.
Ball back into that corner. Ox Gaming have to decide whether they want to go all in that counter or just run down this clock for a neutral position. A kick-off where both teams could prosper. But Devour has other plans. Overtime is not to be reached. One heavy touch was all it took. And look at the accuracy from Devour.
Was never going to miss from that distance, right? Wasn't going to happen. He was going to be able to get that in all day long, right? 40 seconds remaining of our regulation. Azura doing well right now. So just our Silverbacks able to take down the Wildebeest here in game one. Well, not just yet. Can we see something coming out from Ox? Devour on that left-hand side. Jerome in support as well. Looking for the bump play. Maybe wanted to get rid of that defender as well, but up goes Serenity for that. And cut out by Teacher. Nice little play there onto the wall, though. Just reads them. And Tweaks though is going to be able to go up for that one. They need to try score something quick here, so Pegasus are they going to be able to do it?
Nothing serene about Ox Gaming right now. They're going to get desperate in these last 5 seconds. The ball has to stay high, but those high 50s from Azura will guarantee themselves that first game in their favor. Silverback, must say, are off to a blinding start. The pressure felt like it was all in their favor. There were a few opportunities for Ox Gaming, especially a little bit later in the game, but what I'm finding fascinating. I was about to say that it's not reflecting the shooting stats. Actually, we cannot see that from the likes of Zavara or Jerome. That made a lot more sense, Mars, because I felt like Azura had more than one shot.
Yeah, no, definitely right. But I think, we did see kind of a very offensive Silverback team. They came in quick, they kind of, the double commit front post where Max was able to score, maybe a bit of a blip there for them. And, they should have a strong game because they did look convincing. But I think, Masters tier, anything can happen. Everyone's on that level, right? So it's kind of always the small mistakes and small margins that separate these teams.
Absolutely, and that small margin was a cheeky little passing play at that front post to be able to open things up, try and find those very small gaps in the master tier. All space feels like it's covered, even if it's right behind the car. They know how to recover themselves perfectly, keep themselves in the action, and from some of those defensive chances, especially from Ox, we really got to see that put to the test, because Ox were very happy to just sit on the defense, wait for the ball to come to them, and maybe in their own time they'll decide to go on these counterattacks where, in all fairness to them, again, they were efficient. It's just not the game plan that many teams would like to rely on.
Yeah, you can't always just, wait for possession to come to you, and is it going to be given away, and are we going to see Max and Serenity get up and make something happen? And, I want to see the ball being played on their terms, right? What are you guys doing for position? How are you carrying the ball up? Is it in the air? Is it on the ground? Are there passing plays coming out, right? I think in the rival tier, we see so many passing plays come out. Teacher opening up the scoring here for Azura, and I hope history doesn't repeat itself.
In our series today, Mars, I feel like control has truly been the name of the game. Not booming these balls forward, trying to maintain possession and offense as much as you can without trying to force through any silly balls here. And Azura have played that game rather perfectly. You haven't seen them overcommit to too many opportunities. In fact, the one goal that Ox got, they really had to make it happen themselves. It was to no fault of the Azura defense, and I guess that second name of the game today as well has been these quick goals early in the game, and that does include those equalizers. Ox Gaming bringing us back to equality.
Yeah, and Serenity doing so incredibly well. They're going up quick for the ball, gets it onto the backboard. Max says, I can read this, gets the second touch, beats all the Azura defenders there, and just the ping pong match continues here. So Pegasus back and forth, and so this is what you love to see in a game of Rocket League as well. It's always going to be quick, it's always going to be exciting, there's always going to be goals here abound, and so maybe here one coming in as well. They're a bit of a pixel shy to the left, and Teacher and Jerome, they're going to be able to deal with that one. Is Ox free at the back though? Doesn't look like it, because we see that Tweaks is going to be up for that one. Getting rid of this ball, has someone able to bring it down. Jerome's going to be able to clear it though, and Ox, the big Voldebeers teams, they're coming in here, they're looking for the Stampede. Can they do something with it? Their Teacher not going to be able to get a hand onto that one. We did have, I think it was Jerome in the front there, just causing a bit of a problem coming in. There's that first man trying to lay the groundwork for a zero though, and nothing coming out of it yet, but a good game nonetheless so far.
This feels like an all-out attack from Ox Gaming, and they had to make sure they found the back of the net. If they'd not found this touch, it would have been a simple bit of control for Azura. But you've got to give credit to that assist, that 50 in the center of the pitch going directly vertical to keep the ball within the confines of the box. That's allowed Ox Gaming their first lead of the series. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens when they're put in the driver's seats.
Yeah, how they're going to maintain this lead, what are they going to do to keep it? Can they extend the kind of safety net and the cushion, and can we get a third coming out from them? That's really going to test the team's BMT here. And Devour sending all the way around the face of the box there, nothing coming in for Azura. And Teacher's caught at the back, yeah, but he sends it forward though. Does have Devour though. It's a beautiful play though, but straight to that crossbar and fourth man.
Ambitious from Azura, but ultimately it's Ox Gaming right back on that counter. Azura's awkward in their corner. A ball off the back wall will be dangerous as well, but Devour is so consistent with these touches. I saw his 1v1 prowess during the Ascension Protocol, and that does bleed its way into 2s and 3s as well in those kinds of positions. In fact, it was that snipe into the bottom corner which helped secure game one. And his starting ball into the box which brings game 2 back into jeopardy. Jerome so fast with that play. Max looked available for it, but that split-second decision was fought for that split second too long, and you just cannot afford that at the top levels of the Master Tier.
Yeah, and I've been waiting for more kind of clean, clinical Rocket League like that, right? I've been waiting for the passing players to come around. I've been waiting for someone like Devour to wrap it around the bend and find someone in the mid there. And Jerome was ready. He was waiting. This was the opportune moment, right? You don't mess these up. Oh, well, talking about messing up opportunities, teacher. He says, not on my watch. He sings that one, they get 3.
And while we spoke about Ox Gaming, how will they deal with the game once they find themselves in the driver's seat? I feel like the story's off them, and it's more the heart of Azura. They've shown a lot of personality in this game to pull themselves out of the gutter and really bring this game back to their control. It's not as if Ox Gaming have really dropped the ball. Azura have just stepped themselves up that upper gear. These counterattacks are much sleeker. The target's found every time, and Devour specifically is on for an MVP performance.
I'm not sure what our green room predictions look like. If I was kind of the only one that maybe thought Azura had the...
I was Azura.
Number. Okay. Well, you as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Although it was because of a player that was not playing, but still, we'll take it. We'll take it.
We'll take it. And nice, right? 2 minutes of regulation here, straight off the kickoff. And Serenity doing the absolute superb work there. Devour maybe not understanding what was going on there. And yeah, 3-4, so Pegasus love it, right? 7 goals.
Yeah, it's exactly the type of game you want to have on screen. Some high-performing master action. I for a second there, to be completely honest with you, Mars, thought there was some kind of disconnect on that kickoff, but no, it just felt like he realized he wasn't going to be able to reach it and just slammed on his brakes and let it happen. You spoke about that one video before we came on stream about Willem Dafoe looking up in anguish. I feel like that's what we saw from the Azura defense right there.
Oh, yeah. Still up by 1, of course, and so they can just hold into this lead. We've spoken a lot about defense tonight and kind of how we can really see Master Tier show all of us a masterclass in defense. And so Jerome up for that one. Nice little catch on the midway line. He's going to get pipped over here. They're pushing it. Ox maybe. Oh, the man that had to shoot that with the redirect maybe puts it into the corner instead of goalward. And so, Ox Gaming had that opportunity to get the equalizer. And Jerome wants to get rid of this one out for Devour. And again, here we find that Azura under pressure, but Teacher is going to be able to put it out into the corner. And so catch coming down from Ox. Oh, that was close. And Devour was there with the save.
1 minute remaining. A similar position to the series beforehand. Azura looking to try and secure themselves at minimum that drawn result. And it's that sharpshooter Jerome who might have just secured that dagger. A brisk challenge there off the ceiling. Just about finding its way into the back of the net. I feel like he'll be counting his lucky stars. But still, you've got to have those ambition. You miss every shot you don't take.
That's exactly it, right? And you also love the double kick from Azura as well. They just kind of, let's seal the deal. Well, Serenity, you've got 41 seconds to really kind of make your dreams tonight for Ox game, and this is exactly how you do it.
Absolutely. 40 seconds gone, and again, we saw this a little bit in our series beforehand. It feels like we're having, a few themes remain consistent. It was a 2-goal deficit in the final minute, a team looking to chase off the back of, but this time Azura, not going to allow it to happen. Devour has come here to feast, and this time it's not going to be himself on the opposing end of one of these kickoffs, watching as it falls in the back of his own net. He gets to give Ox Gaming a little bit of a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, it gets to run right just around the defense. They puts it onto the hood of the vehicle, pops it over everyone, gets to dribble them, breaks a couple of axles, and yeah, 6-4 right now. It's convincing victory in game number 2, and Azura definitely needed. So they are in the pound position here in this series, and of course now Ox Gaming can only look for the draw. Of course, we saw a draw in our third series of the night just previously to this, and can we see Ox Gaming maybe get a repeat?
I feel like it's definitely possible. These games have been close, but Jerome's looking powerful. I believe that will secure his hat-trick. It's a gorgeous flip reset to get that job done. Devour as well is looking ever stronger. So I would say that if momentum continues to swing to this Azura side, they are going to look relatively unbeatable. But I don't think Ox Gaming are quite out for words. I do believe they could have a chance, but one thing that I love from Azura in this game is just their bravery in that final third. I really think back to that shot from Jerome where he just challenged into the corner. It was very much monkey see, monkey do from the Silverbacks, and that does bring a great smile to my face. And 7-4 as well. What a match for the neutrals.
Yeah, absolute fantastic game of Rocket League that everyone wants to see 7-4 on our scoreboard. No one wants to let it die, right? I'm kind of like, getting myself in front of the camera and I'm ready.
Good debate, look.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, just no one wants to let it down. Yeah, exactly. Just keep playing, guys. It's Masters League.
Are we being held hostage?
Yeah, precisely, right. They're really... Okay, Jerome. You guys just keep it going. That's it. Nice little layoff there coming up from Devour. There we go. The big Silverbacks. They get the dub, yeah. So Pegasus, and yeah, head into the business end of the series.
Rule 0 or Rule 1, Muzz? What side of the camp are you there for keeping it up on 0?
Oh, man. You know what? It's great. I love it. They're doing it for the content. They're doing it for the fans at home.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that Ox Gaming did it as well. I feel like a lot of teams there, when they have lost what would be a really frustrating game for them, especially because they had the lead at some point, and it did end up being somewhat of a close score line. You'd want to just get this game over and done with, but no, they also played along. I guess you could say that's good manners from both teams if you do play by those kinds of rules. But Azura are very much the one writing the rules so far in this game. They've had all the control. It's been Ox Gaming having to respond to everything that they do. And if that's not found, I must say, in the first minute in Game 3, I feel like this is just an unstoppable steam train right now.
Yeah, it's a big team, right? I mean, you've got Devour, you've got Teacher. It's a big team. We've looked at the hat-trick. We looked at the 2 goals from your teammates as well. A lot of them assisted. We saw the pass and plays coming out there. Devour that wrapped it around for, it was Jerome. And yeah, Jerome had his hat-trick. And so, yeah, we spoke about control earlier tonight. We spoke about kind of going back to basics. I think, you don't have to be ultra fancy. Devour score kind of a dribble play, little small quasi flick, and so it doesn't have to be fancy. You just have to be able to shoot that ball into the back of the net.
Look, as a Unity man, it is nice to see Teacher being able to put on a performance for us as well on that Azura side. Although I must say, Jerome and Devour right now, I feel like have been the ones getting all of those highlight plays, those sharpshooting shots out of the corner, the ones that have really been making Ox Gaming guess. But Teacher's kept it all together. And when you have 3 such solid players on the roster, it's going to be such a tough nut to crack. And Ox Gaming, despite having done so 4 times in the last game, that was somehow still not enough.
Yeah. Right, well, Game 3, Ox Gaming, they need to bring it back. We need to see a little bit more than just Max trying to beat out 2 defenders and double commits coming out from Azura. And we need to see Serenity and Tweaks getting on the board, doing diabolical things in that defensive third of Azura. And where's it going to start? It's going to have to start, maybe not here. You got to clear the offense coming out here from Azura and Devour. He tried to have a crack at that one.
Max pops it high here, but that's only going to find a purple car of Azura. Teacher's caught in his own corner, beaten thereby, and Ox Gaming player. That inside pass does not reach. The counter was quick. The demo comes through as well from Teacher. There's no one waiting in that 6-yard box, but Devour thought that ball was rolling. It was a tough perspective to try and see that ball. Depth perception's not in his favor. And that could be a first real clear-cut opportunity there for Azura lost. They're going to have to start back from square one. It's low boost all round, possession favouring Ox Gaming too. But Devour, lovely control off that first touch. That second one, however, not quite having the same compliments.
Yeah, Teacher is going around for a long time without boost at the moment. He's not able to pick up too much, not finding the small pads around the field. And Jerome with the control. But again, you know, there's a boostless team here on Azura, and so they can't kind of take it too far around the pitch. And Devour's just going to send that one straight to the width of the pitch there as well. An open net here at the back, but no one's going to be able to do too much with the Teacher. Trying to get a small touch into that ball, and maybe it's an open net here for Ox Gaming. And eventually it had to crack. Maybe just that boost management and kind of the scarcity of resources here from Azura that finally led to this downfall.
You see two players as well in that offensive corner. It's the most dangerous area of the pitch to challenge. They've got a majority of the team there and a third man, which is positioned normally for a 3-man rotation, but not when your teammates are playing that aggressive. And it gets from bad to worse in the kickoff. It's Tweaks will take this ball open. It was a lovely flip reset to keep the defense guessing. But when you spoke about a team potentially being able to claw themselves back to get a drawn result, Ox Gaming are making that look a lot more possible. And even if that's not the case, the league table isn't decided by series, wins, losses, or draws. It's all about these individual games within themselves. So you've got to grab whatever you can take. This gaming looks to do exactly that.
Yeah, incredibly important to win everything that comes in front of you. You take it literally one game at a time here, and we're always going to play a standard 4, which is great. And Ox Gaming, through the 2 early goals we've seen here, are fantastic, and they're looking for a bit more balls going to come down. And Jerome had to get rid of that one. Ox really hungry for just a little bit more. And you know, cakes win games, not scrums. Or salads. That was a complete botch. They don't listen to me. Yeah, but no, Ox doing well.
I think this one could be a bit of a toss-up. How's that for a salad reference for you, Maz?
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. As is the gameplay as well of Ox Gaming in its third game. If you compare it to the last 2, Azura, for the first time, have struggled. And in games before where they've had to take control, this time they're left to be fed on scraps. The counter-attack comes through. It's a completely open net. It's a little bit of a give back for what they gave Ox Gaming beforehand. And I'm sure they'll be licking their lips as well at this following kickoff to allow history to repeat itself.
Now we're going to see that kind of slow clawback coming here from Azura Silverback here. Pegasus. It might just happen. Teacher maybe able to squeak one in. It's not going to happen on that right-hand side. And Tweaks wants to keep it out. Teacher trying to get off that wall and almost able to kind of just keep them at bay. And Jerome here, calculated and strong, able to do something. Oh, man. Absolute gem of a pass.
The type you desire for. Devour with the perfect read into the bottom left corner. We saw his ground game. We saw his eyes for those bottom corners. But despite the verticality, the efficiency is all the same. Ox Gaming again. Watch another lead slip through their fingers at the hands of Devour.
Beautiful, beautiful play. They're just Icarus waiting up high in the heavens to bring it down. Oh, it's always Tweaks. And we can't count out Ox Gaming just yet.
Prophecy looking to change it. It's a gorgeous carry there from Tweaks. Keeps it simple. Soft few touches. Not a lot of air roll required as long as you can get it over those first 2 defenders. Azura again have their work cut out for them. But we've seen high-scoring affairs. We've seen this team in desperation spots, and these are 3 players that do not know when to quit. 30-second call is made. That's going to be an eternity for Ox Gaming, but a quick flash for Azura, looking to secure their series win.
Yeah, you love the staying power here of Ox Gaming, right? They just will not die tonight. They do not want to go down this way, so Pegasus. And so through Tweaks and the lads, it's going to happen. Oh, there we go. Serenity with a blistering goal.
Destiny has arrived. Ox Gaming surely securing the first game. I'll try out the caster curse here for the last 8 seconds because there's absolutely no way Azura pulled this off. And the stakes are going to be huge heading into this fourth game, because you talk about, of course, playing the series, wanting to get that series win, wanting to secure a draw, whatever. Like I said before, that doesn't really count towards your standings. It's these game wins individually and how that impacts the table. And as the current table stands here in the Master Tier, it is drawn between a Wildebeest and Silverback. Both of them on a hearty 9-game wins. The winner here leapfrogs on the table and secures themselves that top 3 spots.
Yeah, and so incredibly important, that Ox Gaming could take this dub. Beautiful play. There was Tweaks come alive at the end, Serenity come alive. It was those first 2 games where Max was able to score those goals and kind of, they weren't all too fantastic for Ox Gaming, but they went into the back of the net and, they kind of showed the potential we could see from this Ox team. Here we go, finally paying dividends. 4-2 wins Ox Gaming. Heading into game 4, Sir Pegasus. Do we dare to dream?
Come on, let's see how this one goes. Even if it's a draw and if it's a series win, we'll have a slight difference a little bit later down the line. Because teams only play each other once a season, getting that head-to-head in your favor is so difficult, which can be one of the tiebreakers to achieve either a play-in or a playoff spot. If Silverback can take their one opportunity here in this single round robin format to get a series win over Ox, not only are they going to have those games advantage, even if they end up equal at the end of the season, they will achieve themselves that leapfrog as a result of this streamed game. 15 seconds gone, quick on, first shot out for Azura, the second one is too wide there from Jerome. That's a play you do not see miss those opportunities all too often, and punishment comes in swift force.
Oh man, and the quick counter-attack they're coming out from Ox Gaming as well. Max, of course, at the back of that shot, gets kind of the early goals in game 1, gets maybe the decisive goal here in game 4, and came off of that small blunder from Jerome and Devour.
That is not the way you want to concede, and I must say the goal that was scored was tougher than the one that was missed. Max, though, has a bit of an easier opportunity. It's 2 for Ox Gaming yet again. A quicker start than they got in the previous game, but 2-0 is still all very familiar. We know Azura can close the gap, and technically, they've got more time to do so. I'll leave it up to those in the crowd whether this is favouring Azura or not.
Yeah, definitely cannot say that Ox Gaming are safe just yet, but what a beautiful lead and what a beautiful way to finish potentially the series here and start game 4. And so, Max doing incredibly well to carry this team to, I suppose, victory in this one, a draw overall. And Jerome carrying this one off that side is going to get the second touch onto the Max. Wants to clear it out though. Bit of a scuffle coming out there from the Azura players as well. Nice little play over from Tweaks, and we just need to see Ox get a third here, and maybe the game is going to be cemented for them. We know Azura can bring it back really quickly and decisively, and ball all the way down from Tweaks. All right, there it is. So Pegasus.
That's going to be one of those plays, Muzz. If this ends a draw, Azura will be disappointed. And it's plays like that that could have made all the difference. You hold your lines, you play that block. A 2-goal difference feels like a molehill compared to the mountain that is free when you're in this Master Tier. You are playing the top defenders that SSA RSC has to offer. How about 4?
How about some more? How about 5? How about 6? Right, Ox Gaming, keep going.
Double digits whilst we're
yeah. Let's just really do it, right? I think everyone at home is just, we're so hungry, and just we really would like more to come. And yeah, I just like Ox Gaming. They deciding, you know what, we're not going to win this series, but that's okay. Let's push, let's throw cars and bodies towards this goal. Yeah, let's be cheeky, let's be Tweaks, let's kind of see if we can cut out kind of transitional plays coming up from Azura, and it's working for them.
Wow.
Okay. All right, Max, we see you.
Chill out, guys. Come on, you're 4-0 up. This is a bit over the top. No, we're all 3 players really required to make it 5. I'll tell you what this is, Muzz. This is a statement. They might not play again in league play, but let's be realistic here. These are 2 teams that should be making those play-ins and playoff stages. And if these 2 teams face off again in that bracket, with all the pressure against them that play-ins and playoffs can bring, Ox Gaming can have that final memory of thrashing Azura in Game 4 on stream. That's assuming that this status quo is maintained for the final 3 minutes.
I know. How do we still have so much in regulation? So Pegasus and you 5-0 on the scoreboard right now, and I think Ox are looking for a little bit more. He has Serenity run it up, trying to beat past Teacher. And Teacher, he really has to do a lot to fight off that ball tweaks. Who's maybe been a little quieter here in this series, but instrumental in how the ball gets passed around. His 2 teammates, and they're fighting again from their own corner. Teacher with the catch is going to get past one. Can he beat a third? He's not going to be able to though. But nice little body block there and puts it in the way of that play, punts it out to the side. Then Devour, who we've seen such disgusting goals coming out from, just needs to be able to lead the team forward, just make his voice heard in that Discord call, and really just let the lads, feel confident.
The Teacher ended up pinching that off the car of a teammate that wanted to control it himself. Those miscommunications are starting to come through, and some signs of implosion from Azura are present. 6-0 certainly would have done that job too, but they were able to keep it out. The bleeding temporarily stopped, and I say that because Ox Gaming look like they're back on the attack. Counterboat for Devour. A heavy first touch there is baited out from the Ox Gaming defender. And they are really playing with the minds here of these AZG players. This is a brutal way to drop down in your last game. 90 seconds are remaining. And in this game alone, I mean, it's enough for an entire series. Tweaks, maybe with another, off the ceiling, something fancy, off the back wall. Max can't get on the end of it.
Yeah, good intention there coming up from Ox. You saw that pass come from a mile away, and you just really love to see the play coming out there. Man, best ground pitch there coming up from Serenity. It's not going to land as Jerome wants to deal with this one, but you can just see how feisty the Ox Gaming players have become. Azura want to be able to control this. They're now in the defensive position here. Devour can run it the whole way home. No, he cannot, because Max says, I'm going to stop it.
I've got so much respect for this Ox Gaming roster, because they're 5-0 up, and still, it's all 3 players forward. They're playing really risky Rocket League, trying to extend the lead, when we know, especially with their Game 1 performance, that they are very much capable of just camping in their own third and wasting as much time as possible. It's what's allowed Azura there just to get a little bit of a consolation goal. Ox Gaming, they're looking for clips over Twitter, and for that, we thank them very much.
It's just that never die attitude, right? You kind of think, oh, Ox Gaming, are we going to count them out? Are we going to see Azura have a fantastic game week 4? And they absolutely have come out in games 3 and 4 here. They've done incredibly well. Max has been picking up goals left, right, and center. Serenity, Tweaks, they've played their part here 5-1, right? The Ox Gaming franchise, they are incredibly happy today. GMs are sitting at home with huge smiles on their faces.
Still, Azura were able to take out a 7-4 result from this series. We mustn't forget that this is very much a game where the scales have been tipped constantly. We had a few games that were close, although I must say I feel like Azura were the more dominant team in the early stages, even when they were not able to show that on the score sheets. Ultimately, I feel like, again, with that lack of consistency and the changes in control, word of the day here, ladies and gentlemen, a draw between Wildebeest and Silverback, thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, and as you said, Azura definitely in that pound seat at the moment. We saw that kind of interplay from Devour and Jerome. They played incredibly well. Games 1, Game 2, Devour top bins, fantastic goals coming out there, right? And it's not, we always celebrate players and how the individuals can do well, but it's a team sport, we know that. But yeah, very good start there coming out from Azura. Didn't get the result they probably would have wanted tonight. We got 2 back-to-back draws here, so Pegasus, is it just us?
It might be. I've had so many draws when I've been on the broadcast so far, so maybe if you guys stop putting me on the schedule, there'll be less of them. But I absolutely love a solid draw when they happen, so you'll never catch me complaining, and I'm wondering if that same sentiment is shared with Mr. SSA.
It's a draw! Well, it's been a night of them. We've had 3 out of the 4 series tonight were draws. And we saw last season, and I can't remember the team, who pretty much who pretty much drew their way into the playoffs. They had so many draws, but still made the playoffs. So it's not the worst strategy in the world. It does keep you there and thereabouts. But excellent for Ox. It does keep their noses in front of Azura Gaming. Of course, we'll have to see what happens with the other games. But again, a game of contrasts. I mean, well, your classic, the 2 wins at the front, 2 losses at the end, and flipped around for the teams. But excellent for Ox to finally come to the party there. And Muzz, your player of the series.
Player of the series, oh man, it's so incredibly tough because I think Max did well.
Of course it's tough, Muzz. We only ask tough questions out here.
No, of course, right? So I think Max did incredibly well and definitely kept the Ox gaming flag flying incredibly high. But I think, Jerome equally had those beautiful moments there at Grey Beaten. So maybe Max on the one side, Jerome on the other.
And I'm assuming the pun was not intended with Jerome's moments. So Pegasus, did you have a standout player?
I think it's fascinating. I've gone for 2 completely different plays here. Again, I've got to pick one from both teams. It was a draw. All 6 players, I would say, had their games where they were not playing the best, let's just say. But I think I'd give it to Tweaks and Devour separately. I feel like Tweaks, some of the plays he found himself in were rather underrated. He did get those few counterattacks that were not flashy, but you still got to find that space. He had those important bullying 50s in the center of the park as well, which I think is what helped allow them to have all the control in the early stages of that series. And as for Devour, do I really need to say anything? I feel like the highlights very much speak for themselves there.
Yeah, excellent work all round. But again, it's a little bit the draws. I mean, you've given your opinion on Sir Pegasus on draws, but it does as a player, I think it can feel a little bit like kissing your sister in certain circumstances, where teams are doing well, and both of these teams are doing well, and I know they would both have loved to at least gotten 3 and open up a little daylight between themselves and the team under them. But by and large, all round, well played by all 6 players. And that is going to wrap it up. And so Pegasus and Muzz, thank you very much for joining the stream tonight and being part of the action. And the only thing left to say is we have Stellenbosch coming up on the 4th of October. So that is just a couple of weeks away. So immediately after week 6 of league play, we will be in Stellenbosch for the LAN. I booked my accommodation this afternoon. Flights are booked. So we are locked and we are loaded. Be sure to be there. If there is any way you can get yourself down there, be there. It is going to be, I will venture to say, the biggest local Rocket League meetup we have ever had, and it's going to be a banger of a day. It's all been put together as everything is with RSC on a community basis, so it's wild and it's crazy, but whatever happens, we will have a lot of fun. So make sure you get there, and that is going to wrap it up for RSC week 4. Once again, massive shout out to our sponsors, Genisus Extreme, Nearstream, and Slayer, who are making this entire league possible. Our biggest so far, and it is only going to get bigger from here as Rocket League takes more and more of a prominent position in sub-Saharan esports, and in particular in South Africa. And there is so much more to come. But until next time, from me, Greybeard, and of course, the guys in the background, Daniel on the broadcast tonight, no deploy tonight, but he's an always a presence that is always there. And of course, our casters, Hodge, Borky, Muzz, Sir Pegasus, and that will wrap it up for tonight. Until the next time, peace.
They do not know the rising towers of Hillbrow. They do not know the sprawling suburbs of the north. They do not know the sweet sounds of isiXhosa, Afrikaans, Sesotho. They do not know our ways. They do not know our people. They do not know us. We are not waiting for permission. We are not asking to be seen. We are our own region. We are SSA, RSC Johannesburg, RSC Nairobi, RSC Saint-Denis. This is not just a league, it is a movement. 4 seasons deep, and we are only just beginning. We train on 200 ping. We grind through blackout. We fight through silence. And we win anyway. This is Sub-Saharan Africa. This is our fight. This is Season 4.